The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Ex-Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum gave his take on the Jets' approach at the NFL trade deadline. We'll talk about that and much more. Dylan Tereman's going to join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. How much worse can it get for Aaron Glenn's Jets team? Can he salvage this season and give us something to be excited about? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now. Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Hey, shout out to everyone who purchased our t-shirt inspired by Woody Johnson last week. Mine came in the mail today. If we can just complete a pass, it would look good. A motto that motivated Justin Fields to go out there and stick it to Woody Johnson and help our Jets get their first win of the season. If you want your t-shirt, jakeasman.com is where you'll find our merch store. Let's say hello right now to our good friend. He joins us every Thursday at this time, the host of the Dylan Tereman Experience, Dylan Tereman. DT, how we feeling?
Jake, first time since I've ever been a part of this show that we get to talk about a win. This is awesome. It took far too long, but happy that it's finally here.
It feels weird breaking down a win with you. I mean, I don't know what to do with my hands. I know.
I was starting to blame myself, dude. I was like, should I just leave the show and for the better of the team? And clearly they proved me wrong. So I'm here to stay for those in the chat that are opposed to that.
You know what's amazing too? They're 1-7, but just the entire vibes in the fan base. You can just see it online. You see it in this chat. It's completely shifted, and they're 1-7. They still are picking second in the draft if it were to be today. It's just amazing what the power of winning could really do for any team.
Yeah, and I know some people are opposed to this, but I think the bye comes at a good time, maybe just for the fans' sake, I guess I'll say, because now we have 2 weeks of feeling like this instead of 2 weeks of one and done and Aaron Glenn is the worst head coach, which we were going down that path quite quickly. So I'm not going to say, and I'm always trying to look at this as a glass half full type of person. I'm just looking at this as they finally put water in the glass, Jake. I'm not analyzing how much water is in the glass, if it's half full or half empty. There's just water in the glass. So that's how we're going to look at it, and it's positive steps to hopefully what could be a turnaround for this team.
We can only hope, right? And that's the big thing, though. There's at least some hope following that performance because the game out of the bye, it's a winnable game. And I think the Jets are in a spot where how they look after the bye is really important for this coaching staff. I was looking at it before we signed on the air, Dylan. Guess the Jets' record over the last 9 years, the game following their bye week.
So I cheated, and I'm a fan of the round table with you, Richie, and Matt. So I heard this, and I knew it was less than 2 wins, and I was going to say 1 or 0, but I would have said 0-9, honestly, because we always have come out flat, especially under Saleh. And I was like, maybe there is a sneaky win in there, but it is the game, of course, where Tommy DeVito was not allowed to throw a forward pass against the New York Jets, and that was our only win. So it felt like a loss immediately afterward, too. It didn't even feel like we won that game. So
that was the only win. The New York Jets over the last 9 years are 1-8 after their bye week. Now, I understand the Jets have been arguably the worst team in football over the last, let's say, decade. So, you're going to look at the stat and you're going to say, well, they're going to be bad in every stat because they don't win. But that is, even for Jet standards, terrible. 1-8 coming out of the bye. That spans multiple coaches. So there's a real opportunity here for Aaron Glenn to say, hey, we're not the same old Jets. Let's win after the bye week and build some momentum and prove that win over the Bengals wasn't just a higher power helping the Jets because of Nick Mangold, or a Fugazi win that was a clear outlier. Like, really, I understand the Browns aren't any good, and the Jets getting the 2-7 is not going to be like, oh, here we go, baby. But we have to see improvement, and I've said it now for a couple of weeks. The wins have to start now, and that's why I think that game coming out of the bye is very important.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know, what do the Browns have, 1, maybe 2 wins. I would honestly look at them as an inferior team to the Jets, and I think they're also coming off their bye week, if I'm remembering correctly.
They
So
are.
I thought we would have, a little bit of extra rest, but that's okay because I was saying it for a couple weeks. Like, I thought we had the worst quarterback room in the league, and Dillon Gabriel kind of was like, "Hey, Dill, hold my beer." He spells his name wrong. It's Dillon. He spells it, which is completely wrong. So he is the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. And obviously, Justin Fields could revert back to the product that we saw with -10 net passing yards. Don't get me wrong, but this is a matchup where maybe you don't have the coaching advantage. Stefanski's still a good coach, but AG is proving himself after this last game. You probably have a very, very slight quarterback advantage. Your defense has been doing better as of late. I know they didn't, have the best game against the Bengals. So, like, this is a game with a lot of rest and a lot of time to self-reflect, like AG was talking about. If you don't come out with a win and you go right back to losing, especially in the, uncompetitive styles that they have in these last, 7 games, then yeah, we're going to go right back to not feeling so great about this team.
Let's talk about the trade deadline. We got some comments from Mike T that Dylan T, DT, will respond to. So that's coming up for those of you just tuning in. I also want to share with everyone out there that we have another great giveaway that we will do on the show as we continue to pay homage to Nick Mangold this week. A Nick Mangold jersey will be raffled away at the end of the show. And for those who didn't see my first show earlier today, we have secured our top prize in next Tuesday's weekly raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, our top prize is a signed Nick Mangold football. I was able to lock it in. So if you want to enter for the daily raffle or just support the channel in general, just know that you have a chance to win a signed Nick Mangold football as our top item, plus a signed Wayne Corbett football and a signed Justin Fields jersey. With that said, let's talk about the deal that went down yesterday, DT. What was your initial reaction to the Jets saying farewell to Michael Carter and in return doing a little late round pick swap with Philadelphia and getting wide receiver John Mechie in the deal as well?
Yeah, I felt like, what was it, 2 weeks ago, you and I did a pre-deadline kind of, primer, and we talked about all these players. And I think we both agreed that Michael Carter was one that we could probably see go. And over the last 2 weeks, nothing has really gone against that take, really. It seems like it's gone actually in favor of trading him away, almost to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm willing to give him away for a late round day 3 pick swap, which is what we got, obviously 2 drafts removed. But you get the dart throw of John Mechie, and I think that's great. So from the Michael Carter standpoint, obviously he negates $5 million in injury guarantees in his contract. That's going to help the Jets somehow. Plus, they get a couple other $1 million in cap savings. I think it's $10 million plus over the next 2 years. So they get some money to allocate somewhere else. They already have the replacement in mind. So he goes, back with the GM that drafted him, Joe Douglas, in that front office there in Philadelphia. So they have a better plan for him. Obviously, the Jets were going to try to do this 2 slot corner type of package that AG was talking about, some packages for Brownlee, some for Michael Carter. Michael Carter got burnt on a 3rd down that I remember watching on film. Not saying Brownlee never got beat, but it looked better when Brownlee was the slot corner anyway for the last couple of weeks. So it helps the Jets, from a standpoint of they get a player back who could help them over the next 9 games, because Josh Reynolds to IR, we saw, even the film, like, you didn't really have to watch the film, but not many people were like open because they won with separation. It was a lot more of like scheming guys open and just having the right route concepts against the, perfect defensive look and things of that nature. So there was a few times where it was like, wow, the wide receiver actually beat his guy on 3rd down and man-to-man, and you felt good about it. So the dart throw on Mechie, obviously he's had such a rocky, career with the leukemia in 2022 as a rookie. 400 yards or a little bit more than that over 2 seasons with Houston, has 4 catches with Philadelphia this year. I tried to watch the NFL Pro Plus of John Mechie, and there was literally maybe like 20 plays to watch through that were like, okay, worth it. But like, you're not going to talk about him just being a blocker or running routes and not catching the ball. So it's really hard to evaluate what he could be, but can he separate better than Tyler Johnson? And Alan Lazard and Isaiah Williams, probably. You could probably do all the design stuff that you did with Isaiah Williams with John Mechie and have a little bit more upside. And I will say that I saw one clip of him cooking Derek Stingley in a red zone one-on-one route in practice when he was with Houston. And I was like, okay, something to hang our hat on. If he can just separate at like a slight bit better rate than everybody else and kind of be closer to, Garrett Wilson as a separator, not saying in terms of overall talent, but that would help this team a lot more because Justin Fields needs to see these guys open. He's not really throwing with a ton of anticipation. So you need guys that are going to win and probably win within the first 5 to 7 yards of the line of scrimmage to really give Justin a better picture to say, hey, I can throw it to that guy because I see him open instead of, I hope he gets open in the next 5 yards. Let me throw it and find out.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some comments that were made by my radio co-host every Sunday morning on ESPN New York. You can listen to me and Mike T. Sundays, 8 to noon. Mike joins the show from 9 to noon. I host the first hour solo. ESPN New York. Download the ESPN New York app or listen on 880 a.m. Speaking of which, I actually just found out, speaking of the Jets as well, I'm filling in for Bart Scott on the radio this Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it's going to be me and Chris Carlin hosting Bart and Carlin this Tuesday. So we will not have a Tuesday morning show, which is fine because it's not like the Jets are coming off a game. I will be live Tuesday afternoon. So adjust accordingly for that. All right. Let's get to the comments, though, from Tannenbaum. He was a guest on the aforementioned Bart and Carlin. And this was Tannenbaum being asked how he would approach the Jets at the trade deadline.
Let's start on the Jets side. If you're the GM right now, tell me about what the process is like as you're taking calls leading up to this and kind of where the cut line for you might be of like, you're going to get a call on guys that you just don't want to trade. Where does that line kind of fall with the Jets right now?
Yeah, I think you have to look at it over like a 2-year view. And what I mean by that, guys, like you have to say like, okay, where's this team next year? So if player X is in the mix for next year, like we should probably not trade him. Look, we hope they win as many games as possible, but at the end of the day, does it really matter if the Jets win 3 games this year, 6 games? This is year one of what we hope to believe is a long-term situation. So to me, this is much about, is the player under contract for next year? Will he be? If not, then we should probably think about moving on. Look, there's always the sense of like, well, you could get a compensatory pick. It's not that easy because in the compensatory draft system, guys, like there's a netting out process, meaning if you sign a player, that's going to offset what you may be able to get from a player leaving. So if a player is not in the mix for next year, Chris, I would certainly consider it.
Okay, so if we use Tannenbaum's approach to the deadline as a barometer for what the Jets could potentially be thinking, and let's note, Mike T oversaw the search process to land Glenn and Mougey, who work in a tandem, but ultimately the final decision is in the hands of Aaron Glenn. If we go off that, DT, talking about Jet players that are factored in for the rest of this year and on the team for 2026, break down how you think the Jets will now handle the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, if everything that he is saying is true and that they aren't going to or they are going to look specifically at those players like contracts that are expiring, I look at 3 names: Breece Hall, Alan Lazard, Quincy Williams. Obviously, Breece Hall's on the last year of his deal, and the rumored price is a 4th. Maybe after this game, somebody ponies up a high 4th or a 4+, maybe just based on potential. To me, I don't know. Like, is there a 2-year plan with Breece Hall that we're not hearing about potentially, like with the franchise tags that could keep him here for 2026? I would prefer that personally, keep him here for at least 1, if not 2 years for that, that rookie who is obviously going to come in and play quarterback. I would like to keep Breece Hall for that. So I would go against Mike on Breece specifically. Alan Lazard, dude, I don't care. Give me however far away the draft pick needs to be legally by NFL purposes. I think they can't trade more than 2 or 3 drafts away. Just give me that 7th rounder, and I don't care. Like, it's Alan Lazard. I'm really not worried about it. We can make up for the depth at wide receiver elsewhere. I know Brandon Smith was cut and then brought back to the practice squad. So, like, we still have him in the fold as, like, that larger body receiver. Maybe they just like Alan Lazard as a blocker, and they're just going to use him as a run blocker for the rest of the season and not allow somebody like Aaron Rodgers to get a free chemistry-based wide receiver in the middle of the season to help, whatever kind of run Pittsburgh may or may not make. So Allen Lazard, just, I don't care. Like, let him go and we'll find somebody else. And then Quincy Williams, again, I'm probably going to go against Mike because outside of Quincy Williams, this linebacker room is probably just as bad as like the quarterback room in totality of this roster. Like the quarterback room might be the worst room on the team. But linebacker is right there competing because Jamien Sherwood does not look good. He got benched for disciplinary reasons, we would assume, just based on 1 quarter of being benched, but it didn't look good in the other 3 quarters that he was in, quite frankly. So, and when Quincy was hurt, it looked really bad. And I know Kiko was okay coming along, but now he has a concussion. Like, you're absolutely decimated at the position. Cam Jones is hurt too, who you just acquired at the cut down deadline. So you're not really getting a chance to see anything at linebacker. So keep Quincy Williams in the fold because what are you going to get for him? A 6th-round pick? And like, do you trade him away mid-season and potentially, and not that it really matters, but you upset Quinnen Williams to a degree where he can't finish out the rest of the season with his brother. And that might be the last time they ever played together was in Cincinnati, this past Sunday. So like, I don't know. I'm cool with keeping Quincy and figuring it out in the offseason, even if it's like a 1-year prove it deal. Like maybe you just kind of give him like a higher contract, maybe $11-12 million a year. And maybe you figure out what to do with Jamien Sherwood and somebody else takes him on and you kind of get some cap relief there. So they can figure out what to do with these linebackers. But for the rest of the season, I don't want to see them trotting out like, I don't know, Jackson Sermon or Kobe King or Jamarcus Weston, who maybe these are okay guys, but like they're probably going to be ass at the end of the day.
I just don't know if Quincy's going to be here though, right? Because like, what is he going to get on the open market? Probably more than the Jets are going to be willing to give him at this point, even with the fact that he was injured and missed some time this year. He has not been the first team all-pro version of himself we saw in 2023. I think you give Robert Saleh and that defensive staff a lot of credit for how they deployed him. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to be here. So Quincy's the one guy that is a free agent that I would trade. I know the linebacker room with Adams going to be even worse, but you know what? Like, I'll live with Malgoa playing a lot, and I'll hope Sherwood, who I do think is a high character dude, will eventually figure it out. I mean, he is 5th in the NFL on tackles. If you watch him, he's not having a good year, but I would move Quincy if I got like a 4th or a 5th. I would. Like the other guys we've talked about, like you want to get a 7th pick swap for Lazard, fine. Tony Adams, fine. Although I doubt they move him now with the injury to Cisco. There's really not much. I'm not trading Brees. I want to keep him. I am either using the franchise tag or I'm extending them. And I'm not trading Quinnen now. I'll have the conversation in the offseason. Let's see. I'm not trading JJ. I'm not trading Will McDonald. Like, I don't think there's going to be that much more fireworks for this Jets team.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason, again, with Quincy, it's like you don't want to make that decision on Quinnen right now. So, like, just see what Quinnen wants to do in the offseason, and then maybe you could part ways with both of them at the same time. And, like, I don't know. Like I'm cool with them. Like more so Quinnen dictating if he stays or goes. Like if he came to me and I'm Darren Mougey or Aaron Glenn and he's like, I don't think my timeline fits this team. Yeah, you obviously have to consider trading Quinnen Williams because if we're looking at a 2-year rebuild and we're not going to be competitive till the back end of next year and like looking at 2027 as the playoff year, which I hope it's not the case. Quinnen's not going to want to be here for all of that. So I would let Quinnen dictate a little bit, but I can kind of see where you're coming from with Quincy. Obviously, he's the older of the 2 brothers, but yeah, it would just be tough. Like, maybe it's a 6th-round pick, right? And you don't want to move him for a 6th-round pick, but if you're going to get, $10+ million on the open market in March for Quincy Williams, maybe that's a 6th-round compensatory pick. So is it worth just keeping him now and getting a future 6th or getting rid of him now for a 6th? Then it's just a weighing of 2 different things for Darren Mougey. How much are they going to spend in free agency? That also comes into play because of the comp pick formula. So a lot for Darren Mougey to weigh out just in these little small-ish trades for the Jets. But Quincy, I can go either way.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to comp picks, it's based on how much money you spend to offset some of the contracts the guys you lost received. Dylan, I don't know about you. I think the Jets are going to spend a lot of money this offseason. They're going to likely have a rookie quarterback coming in, so you're not worried about, how do we afford to build our team? No, they have $75 million in cap space coming up. There's some dead money charges that are going to start to finally go away from the Joe Douglas years. You look at what this team needs, it's going to be pitched to the fan base. Glenn's got to get his guys now. Here we go. We're going to spend. Like, that's kind of what the Jets do. Like, they always have that one off season with every new regime where they go wild and we get excited. And sometimes it does work. You get 2015 where they were on the precipice of the playoffs, and other years you go wild and you bring in Tremaine Johnson and Le'Veon Bell, and the team's terrible. So we will see, which players they spend it on, but I think they're going to spend money because I just, to me, there's no way they're going to go in the next year being like, yeah, it's another year of rebuilding. Now they're going to try and turn this around quickly, especially if this year ends up being way worse than even the most negative Jet fan thought. No one thought this team would be picking in the top 3 in the draft.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't think retaining your own soon-to-be players and free agents counts against the comp pick formula. I would have to do research, but I don't think it does. Like Jamie and Sherwood didn't count last year against our comp pick formula because we got all that done before free agency, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just looking at guys, and we talked about Breece Hall, right? Like I would totally just allocate some money to Breece. You're looking at, and these are probably some very micro in-house deals, but Jeremy Ruckert probably needs a new deal. Max Mitchell probably needs a new deal. Who else was I looking at? Jermaine Johnson, whether you want to, figure that out this year or not, because he's entering his 4th year. I know he has the 5th year option. You could still extend him and use this year's money to help you in now and in the future. So there's just like micro transactions that they could do in-house to also spend some of that money. But I agree with you on the overall point is I think they're going to spend enough where maybe they cancel out all their comp pick formulas and they don't get any, but that'll at least allow them to potentially get one, because I think this year they're going to get 3. So I think their goal is to have comp picks.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Lou B in the house. Shout out to our friend Lou, who says Jets posting about Isaiah Davis is suspect. Well, he had a really good game, Lou. I think what Lou's trying to say is, they're hyping up Isaiah Davis because they're about to trade Breece Hall. I don't think one has anything to do with the other. They also posted about Breece Hall just the other day.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything. And the social media team is not going to be in on those informational things anyway. Like they don't know that Breece Hall is going to be traded. So like maybe it's just like timing and conspiracy theories, because the fan base has nothing to really focus on right now but the bye week. So I would disagree with that, Lou B. I think Breece is here to stay.
Lou is just very worried about everything. He's a crazy Jet fan. Love the man. Came to our watch party. So hang in there, Lou. I'm telling you. And even if they do trade Breece, the social media team has no wherewithal whatsoever on what Darren Mougey and Aaron Glenn are thinking about right now. And here's a post they made the other day, 3 days ago, about Breece Hall. And they posted the Curtis Martin to the great Wayne Chrebet touchdown to beat the Bucs in 2000. And 25 years later, they posted the touchdown the other day of Breece throwing to Mason Taylor. Reminder for those of you tuning in, our giveaway today is a Nick Mangold jersey, and we have secured a Nick Mangold signed football for our top prize in this upcoming Asmaniac raffle. Super chat from JJ. He's the first person today to be entered in the raffle. Right now, Dylan, if we spun the wheel, only JJ would win a prize, would win a Nick Mangold jersey. How about that?
We need more people getting in on this 74 gig then.
Well, don't say that too loud. JJ doesn't want anyone else joining.
You're 100% right. He's like, stop the show right now.
Stop the count. I think JJ actually won a Mangold jersey. What was it? Yesterday. He won at the end of our second show. So JJ, I ordered it for you. So be on the lookout for that coming up. Hey, Jake, glad we moved Carter. However, with the talk, he could have maybe played at safety with Cisco out for the year potentially. What is the safety depth moving forward for the rest of the season? Just Adams/more. I think Isaiah Oliver is a factor now when you look at the safety depth going forward. I also would be curious. I don't know if they would do this, Dylan. Do you think there's any thought of having some packages for Brandon Stevens, who has played safety before, plays safety, and you could get AZ Thomas on the field opposite Sauce?
Yeah, you could do that. You could figure out a way to... Yeah, you could probably do that. That's probably the only way to do it, right? Because if you're going to go dime package and have your 4 corner types, you're going to have AZ, Brownlee, Sauce, and Stevens as your 4, and then your 2 safeties would be Adams and Malachi Moore, you would presume. And then like you still have 7 pieces in that back end to use. I know they worked out Jarius Monroe, who was with the team most recently. Is like I think training camp he was with the team. I know last year he was. And then they also picked up JT Woods from I forget who he was with, but he's out of Baylor a couple years ago. He's a long, like lengthier safety, so perhaps he gives them something off the practice squad. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting to see how exactly the safety room plays out. But Tony Adams is Tony Adams inevitable for this team? Like There's
Woody's worst nightmare, Justin
he,
Fields and
yeah,
Tony Adams.
dude. I mean, and it looked good. Woody was right about Tony Adams at first, right? Just like he was right about Fields at first. But of course, everything comes back to bite Woody in the ass, no matter what he says, good, bad, or indifferent. So the fact that, you know, now he's back on the starting lineup and Fields is playing well, it's like Woody has double egg on his face. So yeah, that's probably the way the safeties have to go.
Rich Sports Talk. I could see Stiggers getting reps at safety at this point. Shout out to you, Rich. Good show this morning. I caught part of it. Do you think they try Quantez Stiggers at safeties?
I don't know. Maybe. Nate would love to see his boy 37 on the field. I'm sure of that. But yeah, they have to try to get versatile with their back end. And I thought it would be MC2, you know, trying to be safety. So maybe they do like Stevens at safety and they bring Malachi Moore into the box and they still have Tony Adams and then your three corners, AZ, Sauce. And yeah, I mean, maybe they could do it, but they have to figure something out because the safety room is getting pretty thin. And Cisco wasn't great, but Cisco was at least a starter. And now you do not have like really a starter outside of Malachi Moore that you feel good about. And Malachi Moore has still had his like rookie lumps here and there.
That's right. No doubt. Question from Rich, who wrote this when we were talking about Quincy. Would you rather get a higher draft pick for Quincy or get another player with a potential late round pick swap? And you got to tell me what the pick would be. If I can get anything greater than a fifth, I would likely take the pick. If it's a sixth and beyond, I probably would lean with, can we get some young player who might be available like a Mechie was and see if we could take a dart throw on him to potentially be, you know, a viable diamond in the rough option?
Yeah, if you gave me like Quincy for a sixth rounder and a safety who's younger than 26, and it's kind of in that same mold of Brownlee, Mechie, Briggs, then yeah, sure. Like I would entertain it because you're kind of filling another position of need in the short term and gives you an option for the long term. So yeah, it really all comes down to what is their, you know, longer term plan for Quincy Williams. And I could just be talking out of my ass and saying, keep him. But if they don't want to keep him after this year, then like there is literally no point. And you might as well just deal him now.
Super chat from Ryan. Throw me in the raffle too. I'll throw you in the raffle, Ryan. You are in for two.
Abracadabra.
He writes in, I'll wear the Mangold jersey next week while at the Browns game. Salute to you. And Dylan, keep up the good work. Ryan, God bless you for going to that Jets-Browns game. I hope you see a win, man. I really do. M123, using his Asmaniac super chat, says, is there a number of wins we don't want in order to ensure a great draft, like 5 but not 7? I want to win as many games as possible at this stage. When we get to the end of the year and let's say they only have 2 wins, then I'm rooting to lose out at that point because the wins mean nothing. But if we're going to come out of the bye and build on what we've seen and win some games here, win games, man. There's multiple quarterbacks that are going to be available for the Jets in the first round. We want to make sure we have competent coaching for whoever we're picking. This team needs to learn how to win. Like, I am not worried about the draft. I'm just not. Like, we'll worry about the draft when we get to December when we see where the Jets record is.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you there. I don't care. Just please show us something that gives us, you know, further proof and builds a bit of a cachet with this fan base that says, hey, you know, maybe these guys could come back in 2026 and lead a rookie quarterback in this offense. Like, that's the stuff that I'm looking for over the next, you know, the back 9, we'll call it. And I don't know, man, like wins, like I guess it technically doesn't matter, but yeah, I'm rooting for a win every single Sunday. I was trying to like figure out where my point was, where like, okay, if we lost to Cincinnati, we're going into the bye talking hella shit to each other as a fan base, and AG's one and done and he's in over his head, and then we come out and we lose to Cleveland. Maybe I would have been actively rooting for less wins. And I'm not saying one win changes everything, but if you win against Cleveland, now you have 2. And now you can kind of start to build momentum. And even if you lose your next 3 to New England, Baltimore, and Atlanta, maybe you steal one of those 3. And then now you have 3 wins. So like I want to see as many wins as possible. And there's no guarantee that these quarterbacks are going to be like, what was it, 6 in the top 12 a couple years ago when Bo Nix and all those guys came out, Caleb Williams and those. So like it might not be that draft. It might be the draft where everything is more spread out and you're able to get a guy at 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, wherever you're ending up picking. And maybe he's the 4th guy off the board, but maybe all in all, that was the number 1 guy on your board. So like, you just never know how these quarterbacks are going to play out. let's just enjoy the games while we have them. We only have 9 more, and then we have to wait until next September to see anything. So I'm going to root for wins.
Root for wins so we could get more videos like this.
Who wanna fly with them?
I mean, Aaron Glenn was so hyped that he literally flew through a wall in the locker room. Like, come on, man. I want to see more of that.
Yeah. No, and he deserves it after everything. I know, like, obviously he's had his moments where he does look like he's in over his head, but every coach deserves their first win. And I'm glad that Christopher was the one that handed it to him and not Woody after everything that happened. I'm so glad that all of those things happened. And we got the monkey off our back. Now, I don't think AG was here for it, but can we bring back the home of the Jets when the players break down after, in the locker room? Like, that was cool. Like, that gives me goosebumps, the first couple times you hear it, and the home of the Jets always gave me goosebumps after a win, watching that locker room access camera. So, let's bring those things back. And in the same tune, let's retire 74. Let's get it off Olu's back, not just for Mangold, but for Abdul Salam as well. So, like, we gotta get these things in motion and get Nick a bust in Canton.
Well, I would say this. Olu could even be grandfathered in if he wants to be, like Mariano was with the number 42. But I do think the number 74 should be retired, and Nick Mangold is certainly a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
This one is from Pat Rich, who says, I don't want them to trade away any player because then it would be used as an excuse to keep this regime. Hire Mike McCarthy, let him develop a quarterback. I mean, look, we're going to see how it plays out here, but I agree with you from the standpoint of let's not forget the 1-7 start. And if they try to use, we traded away Michael Carter and Alan Lazard and whatever other player might be dealt, assuming it's not a guy like Brees, if they try to justify that as a reason why they finished still with just 2 or 3 wins, I'm with you. Clean house, get a real offensive coach in here for the first pick in the draft in that scenario. But what I hope happens, Pat, is they win games, and we're not talking about one and doneing the coach, that Glenn shows real improvement, and we feel a lot better about the direction this team is going.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not, and we've kind of echoed this same sentiment here that I'm not for stripping them of talent to then have them say at the end of the season, oh, we deserve a second year, Woody, because, look at all the players we let go and we had no chance after that. We knew, like, after the start that it was just only going to get worse. So we had to get rid of these players. No, just keep everybody, keep as talented as you can, play the best hand that you have at the poker table. And I don't think getting rid of any of the guys we talked about outside of, maybe Alan Lazard really, like, every other move, it looks like you get worse as a football team. So I'm just not in the business of that. And I understand if, playoffs aren't in the cards, which they're not, obviously, like nobody is going to, everybody will argue against it and just say, get what you can now. But I don't know, man, I want to see the most competitive version of this team over the next 9 instead of a team that is going to lay down.
Jets Johnny says, but when Glenn celebrated during Tampa, he was a clown. Laugh my ass off, fair weather fandom. You don't see the difference between celebrating when you haven't won and then your post-game locker room being excited for your team. I honestly don't have any issue with Glenn, being excited after the McDonald play in the first place. I understood some of the criticism when people were like, do you want your head coach to act that way? Like, to me, if you win, nobody cares. So that never bothered me. I didn't like him clapping after the game, but it was explained to me that he was trying to, like, pump up Will McDonald, who almost blocked, the last second Bucs field goal again.
Mm-hmm.
That said, like, I don't think that's fair weather fandom. When you win, guess what? When you win, you highlight the positives and you get excited about your team. And the Jets haven't done a whole lot of winning. That was their first win. So I think you calling anyone a fair weather fan for that, Jets Johnny, is a low blow. That's not what's happening here at all. I think if you're a Jet fan, you had every right to be disgusted with what you saw the first 7 games of the year. And you have every right to be excited and happy for Aaron Glenn after he gets his first win.
Yeah, I'm sure, much like myself, many of us were trying to imitate that dance that he was doing in real time. So, like, we were celebrating it in real time, but then, much like all the players and the coaches, again, they come back down to earth and they're like, oh shit, we still have a minute and whatever seconds left. And Baker Mayfield has done this 3 times already to, their opponents. So let's go see what we can do. And obviously we knew what happened, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Fair weather fandom, it doesn't make sense to me. I've always tried to just, like, keep consistent with my takes. So I knew it wasn't directed at me. So I don't know. Is he calling you a fair weather fan? I don't get it. I don't know.
Jets Johnny, though, he loves Aaron Glenn. He thinks he's the greatest coach to ever coach.
there's a lot of people that really do love Aaron Glenn, and that's fine. You know, like if they love him because he was a player, that is now a coach, like sure, we love the whole backstory. I don't know, man. To me, I feel like if the team is not going to be playing well, I'll just call it out, regardless if it's a coach that we really like or a coach that we don't like at all. Like Salo was my number one guy, and I was pretty critical of him towards the end of his, tenure here. But I was pumping him up in the beginning too. Maybe I was like forgiving him a little bit too much for year one, but it is what it is. Some people love their coach.
Indy Jet says, BS Jake, you clown AG. Continue to clown with the clown music when AG was excited. That's just a funny video we play. There's nothing to it. We even updated it after they won a game. But Indy Jets, if this offends you, well, guess what? I'm going to play it again and again and again. They're 1-7, people. Like, you want Jet fans to be excited? Win games. Like, we're excited after one win, but we're not going to lose our minds into convincing ourselves. Here comes the 10-7 run. Like, come on, man. If you can't handle that video, offends you, give me a break. And then he followed it up with clowning AG with the Jets flying high in the locker room. A Jet fan on X made this video. It's funny. Laugh, Indy Jets. If this video, which is clearly AI of Aaron Glenn flying in the Jet locker room, offends you, you got to seek help. That's funny. Come on. Yeah. God, people are so insane.
AI is a wild one nowadays, isn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Raul. Hey guys, hope all is well. I want in on the Mangold jersey. Stop the Browns run game and continue the momentum. They better be Cleveland. Raul, you're in the Nick Mangold jersey giveaway coming up at the end of today's program for 5 entries with this. Thank you. Dylan, if they're going to beat the Browns, can they force some damn turnovers against the Browns? I mean, come on, man. You're at home. I understand Myles Garrett and that defense is still very, very good, but this is the game the Jets, if they're serious, have to find a way to win.
Yeah, this is going to go one of two ways, right? We know how this is shaping up. If this was, like you said, that 1-9 Jets after the bye, if we get one of those experiences, we're screwed. But if we come out and we show something against the Browns, like I said, an inferior team, now you have something to build on. It's not going to be the most, a glorious win or whatever it is, but it's really going to go one of two ways. Like, you're either going to lose and everybody's going to be back to miserable and, Mendoza's the guy or whoever we're arguing about next week, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, whoever it is.
I can't wait till I declare who I'm backing in the race for the quarterback.
All I'm going to say, Jake, is if you are attending Mobile, and we've talked about this, probably wait till after then to even consider making a claim, because a lot of things change between just the Senior Bowl and the draft, but seeing the guys up close and personal, like I saw Jackson Dart that week in Mobile last year, and he wasn't great. Like, he was okay. I honestly thought Dylan Gabriel was the best of the quarterbacks last year in Mobile. So, like, it's going to go a lot of different ways. I'm not settling in on anybody yet. I seem to be leaning towards Mendoza just from a mindset perspective. I love his anticipatory throws, but Dante Moore, man, he could just spin the ball. He's so special. But I sent you the Todd McShay video, and maybe we can break it down closer to the draft. But like, there's a lot of lack of experience in these quarterbacks that makes me really nervous. And we talked about the Parcells rules last year with AG and the new regime, whatever. They need to be tweaked. Those rules need to be tweaked. It needs to be more started games in the collegiate level because of the transfers and everything like that. And also the accuracy, the completion percentage needs to be jacked up to probably over 70%, maybe over 72%, because college quarterbacks are completing so many higher rate of passes. So there's rules that need to be tweaked for that Parcells thing. But if that is the barometer, I think a lot of these guys miss the mark and probably need to go back to school. Like, are you drafting Ty Simpson with pick number 2 overall, Jake, knowing that he has 7 or 8 starts, maybe 12 at the end of the season if Alabama goes on a playoff run? Like, that's really risky stuff, man. I immediately think of like a Mitch Trubisky type who didn't have a ton of starts. So it's going to be a long time until the draft comes and I plant my flag on QB1.
I think if they think he's the best player, fine, but God, you better be right. You better be right.
And you probably need a guy who's probably going to start the first 8 to 12 games, hopefully the first 17 games of Ty Simpson's career for him, so that he can hold the clipboard and learn from the bench. Like, that's truthfully what you want with a lot of these guys anyway. So the fact that Justin Fields is playing well now, but was playing like absolute dog crap before, makes me really nervous that, like, for that $22 million cap hit, he was supposed to be the guy that can get you through 8 to 10, maybe 12 games of next season before your quarterback's ready. And he comes in week 14 to 18 and lights it up over the back five. And you have something to hang your hat on going into his second year. But now with Fields playing the way he is, it makes it that much like tougher to visualize the quarterback room next year. Are you going to pay Rodgers, Justin Fields, as Buffalo Jet fan coined it, a Jacoby Brissett variant, and then a rookie quarterback? Like, you're paying a lot of money for guys that aren't even there. So it's a tough look.
Well freaking said. Ladies and gentlemen, our comment from Jay Pritchett, who says, Jake, I watched one of your streams where you did nothing but call Aaron Glenn a net for 2 hours straight. Stop acting like the hate you get is unwarranted. Let me say this, Jay Pritchett. If you saw one of my streams where I did that, it was probably the London game where he coached one of the worst games anyone has ever seen by any coach, let alone a Jet head coach. So I think the hate I get is unwarranted when people say I'm a racist, Jay Pritchett, you mother effer. That's what I'm talking about when I say I'm getting hate. I've been critical of plenty of Jet head coaches over the years, and just because Aaron Glenn played for the Jets doesn't mean that we're going to ignore obvious coaching issues when we see them. But it also doesn't mean that I'm not rooting for him to do well. I'm a Jet fan who's been celebrating this win like everyone else this past week, but it's my job as someone who gives opinions every day to talk about this team for 4 hours a day, to be honest about what we're seeing. And if you're going to pretend like Aaron Glenn has done a good job so far when the team's at 1-7, you're a fool. All right. That's been my whole point. We're all rooting for him, but let's be fair to what we're seeing here. Right. His handpicked quarterback was Justin Fields. He said that he didn't think Fields was ever coached up properly. He said they'd be the ones to let him play QB and maximize his potential. And until this past game, Justin Fields has never had a stretch where he played worse. Once again, they're 1-7. His game management has been bad this year. And what happened in London was a disgrace. He's the one who said the last 4 minutes of each half belong to the coach. You know, he's the one who promised that they would elevate players with their coaching. And all these guys look worse for the most part. Will McDonald finally had a sack. Remember, it's coaching. It's coaching. He had his first sack in this game this past week for the first time since week 1. So I need to see a lot more, because right now I've seen nothing from this regime that makes me believe they could, one, identify the right quarterback and then actually put that guy in positions to be successful. So we're all hopeful now that they have a win and they're playing Cleveland and they can build on it. But one win doesn't erase the fact that this team has been awful through the first 8 weeks of the year.
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on it a little bit. You just have to be honest, right? When you sit in front of a camera all day, can we celebrate moral victories at 0-7 anymore? Like, if you wanted to talk about a lot of the positive things we did against Pittsburgh, that's fine. But then that immediately got wiped away with Buffalo, and then you lose in non-competitive, competitive fashion to Tampa Bay, and you're not really sure what happens with this team. And then from there, you kind of get embarrassed by Miami in prime time, where nobody can, have discipline on a play action pass. You get blown out by Dallas at home, where it was probably more Dallas fans than anything else. And then you have Denver debacle in London, and then you have Carolina, where it's like, can we just see a touchdown? And I think you have to be honest about the team. And when you're sitting here talking on a camera and you're not being honest about what you feel as a person about whatever you're talking about, it is so easy to sniff through that. So, Jake, it's honestly probably harder to sit up here and lie and say, oh, well, you could take this little tiny positive. And when I have Joe Blewett on, he's only allowed to talk about the positives on the film. So it's going to be a 2 or 3 clip breakdown. And most of it's going to be Austin McNamara or Nick Folk. So it's like, it's really hard to just like focus on the positives when a lot of it has been negative. So I think you're just being honest. And anybody saying, I don't know, the race stuff, man, that's just next level internet trolling that doesn't, I don't know. It's so like weightless, in my opinion. Like, you're standing on false ground trying to call somebody something that you have no idea about. Like, I've never once heard you say anything racist, privately or publicly. So it's like, I don't know. I don't see it.
But that's like the problem with society. People could just throw things out like there and just like there's no consequence for it. So but it's not even that. It's just like some of the comments I get. It's like people couldn't wait to tweet me after they won this game. What do you have to say now? Like, you and Buffalo Jet Fed, we were even talking about it on the show the other night. And it's like, guess what? Jake's happy that they won,
Of course,
which is what BJF said, and I'm like, yeah, of course I'm happy.
Of course,
people realize that we as content creators, we do worse when the team's bad. Our views are down. People aren't excited. People don't buy merch. People don't send super chats. People don't care about the raffle prizes. Like, oh, you want to win a Jets prize? Like, who? Like that's the thing, man.
Yeah.
People don't seem to understand that. Like, I hope Aaron Glenn's amazing. But I can't sit here and like blindly defend him if I don't believe it. Like, I thought this comment by Light Grenade was spot on. If I was up here talking about how hopeful I was at 0-7, and let's not rush to judgment, you guys would be saying I'm delusional. Like, what are you seeing? So like, that's the reality.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. You can't just sit here and moral victory the whole thing for 2 months every single day. I mean, twice a day, that's like what, 4 or 5, plus hours a day that you're sitting up here. You could get away with like a 30-minute BS video, propping up the team after a really, uncompetitive loss. Sure, whatever. But how many weeks is that even going to be listened to? So I agree. And it's hard to like, you can't satiate everybody, right? You have 43,000 subscribers. Not everybody's going to agree with your take. And I just think as long as you call it fair and honestly, and you're not like, you weren't demanding AG to be fired after week 1. Like you weren't calling for him to be fired really at all. I know obviously the videos and things like could point people in that direction, but you never really were like, I want to see him fired. But if this continues, yes, this is no way that we can continue on.
My take hasn't changed. If they finish with the worst record in football, I don't think this regime should be here to pick the quarterback in the draft. I still stand by that. One win's not going to change that. I want to see real improvement here over these next 9 games. There's a lot of games to go, right? I mean, we still got 9 football games left. That's a lot of football to be played, where hopefully they did turn the corner. And instead of playing, videos about how bad the Jets are, we get to play fun videos like this.
First win!
That's what we want to see, DT.
Yeah, I compared it yesterday on my show with Chris Schubert. For everybody, go check out at Tereman on YouTube. We talked about the back 9 expectations, and I talked about it like it's an 18-hole golf course, right? The first 9 of this golf course threw us for so many loops. We had water hazards, we had triple bogeys, we stroked out on a couple holes, but we got to the clubhouse. This is the bye week at the turn, right? It's kind of a perfect time for it. We go inside. We get a couple more cold ones. We get a couple hot dogs or 2. We go back out on the back 9 where we have some par 5s where we can score. We have some reachable par 4s. We have some scoreable things where we have a modest scorecard coming back home after 18, but there needs to be some tangible evidence, some really good shots, out of the center of the fairway that hit the green from AG, Darren Mougey, Tanner Engstrand, Steve Wilkes, even to a degree. All 4 of those guys are going to come under the microscope the next 9 games on how they manage this team. And the fans are smart enough to know if it's bullshit, just like they would know if you were bullshitting. They know if this team is bullshitting. So we need to see some tangible evidence.
Tangible evidence. Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, some super chats. But first, can we shout out the great Cynthia W., who gifted 5 memberships to enter the raffle? Thank you, Cynthia. Always good to have you watching the show live. We have this one from the Kyle Clifton, who says, my brother Lyle's birthday is coming up in for the Nick jersey. Kyle Clifton, happy almost birthday to your brother Lyle. Yeah.
Lyle Clifton.
Ryan says, not only did we get our first interception this upcoming week or next week, we will get 2. Jets win 27-17, and we continue the winning. Hashtag F Woody. So
some are calling him the master motivator, man.
He put this in Fields' locker. It worked.
Dude, 2 picks.
Woody bought a shirt from my merch store. He's like, I want that shirt, man.
So does that mean you have Woody's address?
1 Jets Drive.
Of course he did. No, yeah, that's we'll see. 2 interceptions would be nice. We almost had one. AZ almost had one. He did come down with it, but he stepped out of bounds. And then Malachi Moore almost had one on the one where Jamie and Sherwood made the pass breakup, I believe, on the second to last drive. So we had very close chances, and I thought we were going to get one against Old Man Joe. But I'll take a win with no interceptions. That's fine.
Wouldn't that be something? Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Dems in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Mike. Kelly Maria in the raffle as well. Hit the Jet chant for him. David in the raffle for 2. He says, Dylan, after watching the Senior Bowl practices, which players did you want the Jets to seriously consider in the 2025 draft that were much further down on your radar screen prior to Senior Bowl week?
25 draft. I can tell you I loved Malachi Corley coming out of Senior Bowl, so maybe that just tells you that it's all an epic lie. No, he was really bodying defenders that week in 2024. Last year's Senior Bowl, like I said, Jackson Dart was okay. I was really watching the quarterbacks because I thought we were going to take one. Dylan Gabriel probably had the best week. Who were some of the offensive linemen? Dude, Mike Green. Mike Green was something else at the Senior Bowl. The edge rusher from Marshall. There were some tackles that I really liked. I'm blanking on their names. Trapillo. Ozzie Trapillo was good. Savanaia, I believe, was one of the other ones that I thought was okay. You probably saw that he was going to be a guard, which he is, but he's the worst guard right now as a rookie. So there was a lot of offense and defensive linemen. I felt like who there was another one, I think. Shamar Stewart wasn't there. No, Shamar Stewart was there, and he only played one day of practice, which that's how you know that they did well. So I really liked Shamar Stewart there, but there was a couple guys that I was really excited about. And my favorite part about Senior Bowl week is comparing notes at the end of the night with Dom C, because anytime I have a guy on my list that Dom C puts on his list, I feel pretty good about it.
You're like, if Dom likes him, maybe
I'm doing something right. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to your calls. Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is the place to be. The link is, in fact, pinned in the comments. So if you want to call in, now is certainly the time. Dylan Tereman is with us here. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And a reminder, we're giving away a Nick Mangold jersey at the end of the show. Mother effing Chew just gifted a membership to get in the Asmaniac raffle for 1. Speaking of trains, ladies and gentlemen, first up today on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is none other than the Lane Train.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good. Hello, Jake.
Hey, Lane.
So, how do you... Oh, hi, I'm Dylan. Tillman.
Lane, how are you?
Good. So, how do you feel about the way the Jets played on Sunday? You think they did well?
Yeah,
Dylan,
go
ahead.
I think the offense looked really good, and the defense looked good when they needed to. And it felt like for the first time they put together a complete team win, even if it was just for one quarter in that comeback.
Yeah, honestly, the trades are coming up. I could see them signing somebody if you get like a QB or something,
You want to see them get a quarterback?
Yeah, either quarterback or running back, because we need a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everybody's like saying, you have to go like and fire Aaron Glenn or let him go. I don't think they want to do that,
Lane, what do you think about the Jets? You like what you're seeing?
Well, I like Mason. I think he's a well player.
Mm-hmm.
And
Anthony Mason?
Yeah, Anthony Mason. And I just can't believe though that Nick Mangold died. Yeah, that was kind of sad.
Very sad.
Oh, yeah. So did you watch the game on Sunday?
No,
I did not, Lane. What happened?
Well, they scored a lot of points. Like in the beginning of it against the Bengals, I thought they were not going to win, but they just started scoring and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Justin Fields and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you start is it this week or following week?
So the Jets are playing the BYE this week. So would you start Fields against the BYE, Lane? Lane got some sort of call. We lost his internet there.
6 rings got him.
Lane.
Hi. Sorry, everybody. See you next call when we talk about sports again.
I'd start Fields against the bye. What say you, Dylan?
Ooh, dude, the bye is tricky, man. I feel like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's going to be a hard decision for AG, and I know he's kind of keeping it close to the vest. Maybe I lean Justin Fields, but perhaps a Brady Cook sighting.
Perhaps a Mr. Cook sighting. Hey, shout out to Robin. I missed this earlier. Robin, you are in the raffle officially now for one. I got you down. Appreciate that. I think Lane's back with us. Lane, what happened there?
Well, I had to take a call from mom. But yeah, I mean, I was saying that, they don't play this week. They play the following week. Honestly,
Lane?
He forgot to put his phone on Do Not Disturb.
Lane? Oh, Lane.
Quite the image to be frozen on, too.
What a handsome man.
The lighting is perfect.
Lane, thank you. Let's get to more of your calls, shall we? From Lane to a man who needs absolutely no introduction. They call him many things. His latest name is the Farting Attic Monster.
Pew, pew, pew. Abracadabra.
I love when Beast does this because we can't hear it at all. For whatever reason, his mic never picks up the guitar. So he's playing the no one right now, but he thinks he's jamming out, which is always great.
Well, that's the best part is he's not doing anything. It's not plugged into an amplifier. He's not really plucking the strings hard enough where we would hear it. You can kind of hear the pick like rubbing on the strings, and he's not playing a single real chord. His fingers are not moving. They're all just staying together in unison. So unless he's playing the same chord over and over, and if you notice, he'll look at the camera to make sure we're looking at him. Like he'll just like the other day he was crying and he was like, okay, oh, and I gotta go back to crying. Like it's all an act, Beast. We know. Come on.
He was coming off a big nap as well.
Oh, Gorman style naps are the best.
My nap, seriously, I take mine. Plus,
I heard you slept like a bear, Beast. What happened? You didn't work today?
Well, it's the weather. Weather's changing. And when it starts getting cold, that's when you got to start sleeping like a bear in the woods going, oh.
Look at that chin.
Look at that keyboard.
Oh, my God. Beast, when was the last time you cleaned that keyboard? 1997?
The day he bought it.
Wait, show us that keyboard, Beast.
I pay for
we got to clean up the dinner plate.
I pay for my own meals. I pay for my own laundry, and I pay for my own detergent, and I also pay for my bills and everything else. And this is how I get slanderized. I call it slander.
Keyboard. Nothing about laundry or dinner. Somehow Beast made this a food take. We want to see the keyboard.
Just show us that thing.
I wish I could learn these goddamn things, but unfortunately, the way things are today, with me working and then having to fight the insurance companies, and then I gotta try to put money back. You just
said you took a nap, though. I'm very confused.
Damn right I did.
Damn right. Can't miss a nap. Can't miss a meal. Can't miss a nap.
Let me say this one time for all you collegial buttheads. I'm not Charles Gorman. I'm my own personal person. I'm not a robot. If I had a robot, which they already made robots already, I'd wish I'd had one. But unfortunately, no, can't afford it. Sorry.
What's he saying? You're 10 times bigger than Charles Gorman? Is that what you always say to
10
us?
10 times sexier.
No, 10 times bigger.
I'm bigger than Gorman. I'm smarter than Gorman. And when it comes to business, I'm a smart businessman. I'm very highly educated. Just because I went to a good college, paid my dues, earned my way up that ladder, rung by rung by rung by rung. See, that's how business works. You start at the bottom and then you work your way up the ladder. See, it's called the ladder of success. See, it takes baby steps.
Hey, Beast, what did you have for dinner today? We see that plate there.
Chops.
Lamb chops?
Immediately stops talking to give us food.
Chops.
What is it?
Pork chops? And who am I representing? The greatest tag team of all time. Matt and Nick Jackson, the great young buck. Who do you think I am?
You had pork chops, Beast?
That's right, with rice.
A little pork in the evening?
Now, wait a second. Did somebody say pork chops? Pork in the morning joins us. Pork, what do you have to say for yourself?
I'm doing great, Jake. How you guys doing?
What's up, Pork?
Hey, we got the man from Hogwarts.
We have Santa Claus in the building.
Hey, I take it, right? Santa's a cool dude, right? People love Santa Claus. I take that compliment. I'll take it. Yeah, but
what?
Look at me in my $500 a day hotel room. Look at you in that attic. That's all I got to say.
This ain't no ad. This is the best global studio headquarters that I put together. And I'll tell you, spending the right money is the best way to go. See, if you spend the money wisely, you'll get somewhere. Like spend the money poorly, you're not gonna make it.
I don't pay for this.
Spending the right money. I love it.
Yeah, spend it wisely.
Economics 101. Spend the right money.
That's right.
Beast, I don't pay for these hotel rooms. My employer does.
I understand that.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he do, bro. like I got.
You know what? I'm starting to see a lot of crappy comments that I don't deeply appreciate.
Gas right now.
Beast, thank you very much. We'll check back in with you. Pork, what do you got for us today?
No, I'm doing great, guys. I mean, last week was rough here in Minneapolis. I wasn't feeling it until the Jets won. You know, I was having a rough time. And, you know, Glenn isn't off the hook for me. I mean, he won one game. I mean, put 2 and 3 together, you know. If we could, let's make the second part of the season a second season. Maybe, you know, if we could have a winning second part of the season or go 500, you know what I mean? Maybe he has something. You know, I want to win as many games as we can. And as far as the trades go, I don't want to lose Brees. You know, I could maybe losing Will McDonald or something for a high draft pick, but I don't know about losing Brees. Quincy, Sherwood, they're not playing up to par, really. I mean, Quincy's back, so let's see. Maybe them together will be better. But Sherwood, I think he's just too undersized for me, a little too thin. You know, I'm 200 pounds. I'm about his size. Like, I couldn't play linebacker. You know.
Why not? Why not? We got you in there. You'll be the guy on special teams, and you'll come in sub packages.
Safety. I could do safety.
All right.
Not linebacker. I just think he's undersized, a little too thin. If he put on 20 more pounds, I'd feel a little more, you know, a lot better, actually.
Sure.
So, you know, but I was excited for the win. You know, Minneapolis here was just a bad week. You know, I got stranded here without a rental car. Somebody had to take it home. So I think I was stuck in the hotel playing Madden all weekend.
Damn.
And then
it could be worse. No, it could be worse. That's not the end of the world, but
yeah, I could cook
not
in here.
Not necessarily ideal.
No, there's a pool and a weight room and stuff. So I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, a lot of people have it a lot worse. Put it that way. You know what I mean? It wasn't that.
Now, Madden, is that where the Coach Hank comes from? Is that you on Madden?
No,
running a franchise for the Jets, turning us around?
I actually coached from 2010 until 2019. I coached youth football in Pennsylvania. I was also, for 2 organizations, I was the treasurer for both. And then, I was actually a treasurer for a pretty big organization. We had 16 teams over 4 counties. It became 4 counties after I got there. It was originally 3, so we called it Tri-County. We were one of the only leagues in the United States that I remember that don't have a weight limit for the kids. So, and it's a great league. You should check it out. It's Tri-County Youth Football. It's in Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. I know exactly where Pottsville is.
Yeah, where they
Coach
make
Hank,
this year.
Hang in there. All right. Good to hear from you.
Yep, take it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, he goes by many names, but we call him the Pork Master on this program. All right, quick super chats, then right back to your calls here. Spencer says, studio having to be rebuilt because I destroyed it. Well, a rare non-$10 super chat from Spencer Green. I didn't even realize it was him. Shane Nitro in my veins. Who cuts Beast's hair? Which tackle is going to stop Myles Garrett? Well, I mean, Olu and Membu both have to play well because they'll line Myles Garrett up anywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he plays both sides. It's not like a TJ Watt type of situation. So you have to be cognizant of that on every play. So, I mean, put a tight end on that side, run away from him, kind of like they did in Pittsburgh against TJ Watt or against Pittsburgh with TJ Watt. So you got to find ways to get him, you know, not neutralize him. You're not going to be able to stop him, but neutralize him at least, because he had 5 sacks. They lost by 19 points, but he still had 5 sacks. And I don't think Justin Fields can operate the same way Drake May did in those same circumstances, given if he's being sacked 5+ times.
Totally agree. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what you're doing and get really close to your phone, your iPad, your computer, and let it stare at you in the face.
I've got my eye on you. Checkmate me, full screen, bitch. Fireball, whiskey time, David motherfucking T.
Hi, guys.
David.
How are you, David?
Hey, Pork was on talking about Pottsville. I went to Reading High School, and I was in the band. And every year on Thanksgiving, we would, either go up or come down, play for the lump of coal, and so good memories. And Jake, you got the best show. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The other shows, I mean, hey, I don't get into them, but it is what it is. And Dylan, I don't know whether it's your Jets mind or you work so well with Jake, but you are my favorite.
I appreciate that, David T. You are you've been one of my favorite callers in for sure.
Oh, well, I'm not that interesting a person, but I don't know. You just, I mean, you got it, and you work so well with Jake,
Thank you.
David
Jake
T.
can be tough to work with sometimes, I'll be honest.
Oh, Jake, and you know what? Oh, and you know what? This whole, I guess, fuck it, I'll bring it up. The racism thing, it's silliness.
I agree. But people could say whatever they want on the internet, David. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I mean, a man in your position, you got to take some shit, Jake, and deal with it, and you're the man.
David, you're the man, and I'm going to play you out the only way I know how.
I got my eye on you, Jake. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Why, man? Dylan, not one chord has been played. Not one. Oh, God. No, put Big Joe on. That'd be cool.
Big Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Big Joe.
Yo, it was really good to meet you at the watch party, man. And not the watch party, the football game.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, man.
That was mine.
Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah.
Big
Now,
Joe.
I had a great time.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy you actually. I'm happy you came up, man. It was really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Hopefully, if Jake does it every year, I'm gonna make it a tradition to come up.
That sounds good. That sounds good, man.
Tennessee.
What?
Abracadabra.
All right, we got Big Fella, Big Joe. We'll get back to you momentarily. Let's bring DT back on. Mr. Big Fella, how are you?
Hey, man, how you doing?
What's up, big fella?
I want to say
not one single chord. Not one single chord. I'm glad.
Not one.
I'm glad because I said that a couple weeks ago in like that exact wording. So I'm so glad that you said it like that. Yeah. Not one chord.
It's true. It's true. My son, he plays awesome guitar, so I know what it looks like, bro. And
yeah, I've seen Dom C's kid play guitar on his Instagram before, and his fingers actually move across the neck of that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to move up and down the neck. You can't just go.
His fingers stayed together like this the whole time. There was no separation.
I know.
I don't know if his dexterity allows him for that, honestly.
I don't know, dude. I just want to wish everybody a happy bye week this week. And, it's I could just imagine how it would have been if we went 0-8, how this bye week would have been.
Oh, my God. 2 weeks of one and done talk and 0-17 talk. Shoot me.
Yeah.
No, it would have been ridiculous. Question. I know that people are saying, we're going to trade this, trade like players off our team and everything, which is a possibility. But do you think we actually can target some people, like target players from other teams for needs that we have for maybe, next year or something like that? I know Mechie to me is like untapped potential.
Mm-hmm.
He had a rough time with the leukemia and he came back, and he's still coming back, but he was excellent in college. He was excellent. And I'm not an Alabama fan, but he was damn good. And I really see like if they can maybe get something out of him, I think that's an actual good move.
Mm-hmm.
I like the dart throw. I
agree.
It's a position of need. You have nothing to lose. Bring him in. He's going to get an opportunity to play with the Jets if he could play. Whereas like the other teams he was on, loaded wide receiver rooms, not a lot of reps for him. Here, if he's good, he's got plenty of opportunities.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And to your point, I would love to add people with like 2 years left on their contract or like a restricted free agent like Mechie is, where we can see what they look like over the back 9 of this season and then say, hey, yeah, we want to make a decision long-term on this guy, but we want right to first refusal, or, we want to have the option before we let him walk in free agency. So I would love to bring in a guy like 26 or younger, I would say, even 25 or younger if you could find it, somebody who's been in the league 2 or 3 seasons, probably only has 1, maybe 2 years left on their deal. And you can see, offense or defense, if it's a safety, a linebacker, especially if they were to get rid of Quincy Williams, anybody on the D line, I would welcome with open arms. Anybody on the offensive line, I would welcome with open arms, even if they don't end up doing anything like Essa Pole. I would just be happy that they would take a swing and say, hey, maybe we can look at something into the future. But wide receiver like John Mechie, I think it's a dart throw, sure, and like maybe it amounts to absolutely nothing for the team, but I think he can separate better than Isaiah Williams, Tyler Johnson, and Alan Lazard. I don't think he's a better separator than Arian Smith, but maybe Garrett, Arian, and Mechie in some combination down the stretch can help you out a little bit more than what you currently have. So I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, and Mechie, like I said, Mechie was great in college, and I just look forward to see how they're going to use him, especially with Reynolds going on IR, So
yes,
it was a need. Now, getting to the Cleveland game, that is a very, very important game for us. It's a very important game for us. Coming out of this bye week, we have to see how Glenn prepares, everybody going into that game. To me, it's a pivotal point. I mean, yeah, we're 1-7. It can't be so pivotal, but it's like it's pivotal for his job, for his career. If he can get his team motivated enough to come out, because we've historically not been good at coming out of the bye. If he can change that and we actually see progress, that's something, to make him look good too. But he's definitely not off the hook with me with coaching, because people are saying it was good. It was good that he went for the 2-point conversion with Isaiah Davis and everything. But people failed to remember that if he didn't go for it in the first quarter at the 40-yard line on our side of the field, we may not need to go for 2. That's hypothetical, but it's still, it's still true.
Mm-hmm.
It is. We may not have had to do that. So he still has a lot to prove, but I like what Mougey's doing. I think he's done a really good job so far. And I just hope for more improvement. And that's about it.
Big fella,
for sure.
You're the man.
You're the man.
Keep up the great work. The work you're doing with Mr. Beastbreaker here as his therapist is truly revolutionary.
Beast, I want you to focus now, right? Show everybody the keyboard.
It's crusty right now. I'm
All right.
I don't have time on my hands.
It's okay.
It's
Just
crusty.
show the
It's old. Speed up. I can't keep up with most.
You
of my
don't
work
have
these
to
days.
clean it up. Just show it. Oh, Jesus Christ. There we go. Simple.
Looks better from that angle.
Good job, man. Good
I'm
job.
old. I wish.
He's home, his bell is on the bed. That's what feels good. On the road, his bell is on the bed. In a dirty hotel room. He calls the show, his bell is on the bed. He's just more comfortable. He got a beard, loves the jets, super jets. He's a big fella, sleeps alone. There's no room on his bed. That's a big fella.
You see how Beast responds to the big fella. That's why he's an unlicensed therapist for Beastbreaker.
Yeah, he was headbanging, fake guitaring at first, and then we got what we asked for 35 minutes ago, which was Beast to show us his keyboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, all week on the show, we're paying homage to Nick Mangold. We're giving away a Nick Mangold jersey at the end of the show. I wanted to play this. I played it earlier. Brian Baldinger did an amazing breakdown of some Nick Mangold film. So as we continue to pay homage to Nick Mangold on this show during the Jets bye week here, I think people will enjoy this. This was Brian Baldinger's breakdown on the great Nick Mangold on Baldy's Twitter account.
The NFL is a shared brotherhood. And we lose a great brother like Nick Mangold. It affects all of us, especially when it happens way too soon. You don't think that a guy that was this big and this strong and could do his job this easily week in, week out would ever leave us too soon. But he made everybody around us better. You know, it's interesting. When you watch Nick play over 11 years, no matter where the play started, it seemed to always run right behind Nick Mangold. That's where it ended up. He was just that good at his job. That's why he went to 7 Pro Bowls in 11 years. That's why he was 2-time first-team All-Pro center. And, you know, Ryan Fitzpatrick played in this league a long time. Never had a better year than he did right here, 2015, against Cleveland here, week 1. You know, Nick grew up in Centerville, Ohio. Went to high school in Kettering, Ohio. About 3 hours away from Cleveland. Thought I'd open it up with this game. Because that's, when you're in Ohio and you grow up a Browns fan. You just do. You play for the Jets, you give it everything you got. We lost a great one, man. Anybody that knew Nick Mangold, he made you feel like you were special. He made you better, even if you never knew anything about football. But like his ability just to block 1, 2, sometimes 3 guys made life for the running backs and the quarterbacks just that much better. A lot of things you could say here. I mean, played 11 years in the league, had a total of 11 holding calls. Do the math, all right? The guy just was a technician. Like, look at this. He just moved people, big people out of the way. That was his job description. Off the field, just a gentle giant. Wore his flip-flops every day that he could. Just a regular person. Regular guy, was great at football. Like, not many people can just torque a big human being with one arm the way Nick could. He could just torque him with one arm and then just rip him and put him down. Like, Nick made this game look easy. He played hurt, often did. Didn't matter, never said a word. Like, here he is. He made everybody better. He was the man in the middle. Nick Mangold, a heart of gold. And we're going to miss you, and it's way too soon. Thanks for everything, Nick. You were special.
Well done by Baldy there. Awesome breakdown of the great Nick Mangold. I want to keep plugging it throughout the week so people are aware. If you saw the show with Matt O'Leary this morning, we talked about it. Matt made a bunch of hoodies and shirts that pay homage to Nick Mangold, with 100% of the net proceeds going to the National Kidney Foundation. And as of this morning, Matt said they've already raised over $5,000. I bought a shirt, so I'm excited to be able to rock that on the show. But check it out, MattO'LearyNY.com, if you want to purchase a shirt to support the movement that this fan base is rallying around in honor of Nick Mangold.
Yep, I got myself a hoodie the other day, and then I was looking at my bank statements, and I saw Matt O'Leary's name in my recent transactions, and I was like, this thief, where did this come from? But no, it's going to a great cause. I'm really happy that Matt was able to do something. I knew one of the great Jet fans out there was going to be able to do something, and it's the smallest way that we can, you know, represent Nick, and it'll be cool to see how many people are rocking their 74s for the rest of the season.
Well said. More of your calls here. Last chance, by the way, to get in the raffle if you want to win a Nick Mangold jersey. And we added a grand prize. I finally was able to secure something signed by Nick Mangold. I bought a Nick Mangold autographed football from Coast to Coast Collectibles. So if you want a chance to win that, enter the raffle, plus sign Wayne Corbett football, plus a signed Justin Fields jersey. With that said, let's get right back to your outstanding calls. And let's say hello to JJ, who's next. Maybe I should have taken back the word outstanding. We'll find out. Hello, JJ.
I historically have the best calls, the worst Wi-Fi with the best calls in my opinion.
Wow.
So it averages out to an average call because
you're taking
caller
broadside
quality.
shots at Ricky. What about Ricky and why?
Oh.
Yeah, well, let's see if this even holds up. But real quick, I had a couple of things I wanted to say. Hey, Jake, I think the reason that people are being so hard on you right now about this whole Aaron Glenn thing is because you gave a lot of grace to Robert Saleh, and you haven't given as much to Aaron Glenn. And I'm all for it because I think we should fire the guy. I don't care how we finish. The only way that he gets to keep his job is if we win out somehow. And I think the only chance of us winning out is if we beat the Browns and the Patriots. Will have some good momentum. I said this before. But other than that, there's no reason for us to stick with them. And if you look at the Patriots right across the street from us in our division, look what they have been able to accomplish with Mike Vrabel. I don't think that Gerard Mayo, if he was still with the Patriots, would be having the same success that Mike Vrabel is having, right?
Not.
So the coaching matters.
So
why not go try to get a guy?
Because you can't just fire a guy if they win like 5 or 6 games a year in. That wouldn't necessarily be the right move. They're not going to win out. And just to follow up on your first point, my criticism of Saleh, I gave him more leeway because the team he took over in his first year was awful from a roster standpoint. And then they got off to a 6-3 start without any good quarterback play, 7-4. And then Mike White got hurt and they finished with 7 wins. Then he lost Aaron Rodgers his first game, finished 7-10. The defense was still elite. Like they were just better coached and they had a better team. So I gave Saleh more of a grace period because he didn't have a quarterback. With Glenn, this roster is way better than the team that Saleh took over. So if they fail to win 4 games, I don't want to hear about how Aaron Glenn is somehow doing a great job. Right now, I think he's got to show us a lot more. JJ, thoughts?
Agree with you. When it comes to the Robert Saleh era, I mean, Robert Saleh got his pick. He got Zach Wilson. That's who him and Joe Douglas decided on. And then Zach Wilson progressively got worse, and they doubled down and stuck with him. And I think that when it comes to Aaron Glenn, you're seeing the same exact thing. He picked his guy, and that's why you're so hard on him. But I will say this. I mean, Justin Fields has never looked this bad in his career. So that says a lot about the Jets. I mean, you guys can say whatever you want about Justin Fields, but he's never looked this bad. I remember him being in Chicago and rushing for 1,000 yards a season. We really don't see much design runs for him. And when we do, they aren't the greatest play calls. I'm not saying that, the hate on Justin Fields isn't warranted. He's not playing up to par. But at the same time, every single Jets quarterback that we see, with the exception of Zach Wilson, has gone on somewhere else and had success. I mean, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco. You guys remember when Joe Flacco was our quarterback? And then I think it was the next year he went to Cleveland and was lighting it up. And everyone was saying, oh, well, Kevin Stefanski, that's why. Well, it's the same thing here. When you have bad coaching, which it looks like we have bad coaching, you can't really blame the quarterback so much. You got to look at the coaching. I will say this, though.
Hold on. Let me interject real quick before I forget the first part that you made. Would you say that AG picking Justin Fields and not having success with him weighs the same as Saleh and Douglas taking Zach Wilson and it not working out? Or would you be able to be more lenient with AG considering that Fields was a free agent and mostly a known commodity?
I agree with the latter of what you said. I think that Zach Wilson, that bust of a pick with Zach Wilson is way worse than what we're seeing with Justin Fields, considering the fact that they could have stayed with Sam Darnold and just build a team around him.
Or drafted the best guy in the class, Mac Jones.
I don't know about that,
kidding.
but
I'm just kidding. He looks like the best guy right now, but
and a lot of people will say, okay, well, Aaron Glenn could have just stuck with Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time, what came with Aaron Rodgers, I do agree that when Aaron Glenn said, hey, I don't want to be, looking over my shoulder and I'm saying something and guys are listening to you more, because that's exactly what was going on. I mean, Aaron Rodgers came to this team and he essentially took over the team, maybe not by force, but, they were giving Aaron Rodgers every single thing that he wanted. And look what that got us. Now, Is it all Aaron Rodgers' fault? No. You see him now with better coaching. I mean, he still is only 4-3 with much better coaching. So that lets us know that even with Aaron Glenn at the helm coaching Aaron Rodgers, it wasn't going to make a difference. But that's not even what I care about. What I really wanted to say is I remember when we got Le'Veon Bell, and I was so excited because I'm like, finally, we have like a star running back on our team. And it's so crazy to me that people want us to trade Breece Hall because I'm like, and I was on that camp for a second too, but at the end of the day, we finally have like a superstar at a position. I don't think that Garrett Wilson is a superstar wide receiver. I think he's maybe top 15 guy. I don't think he's top 10, but he's a top 15 guy. I don't think that Sauce Gardner is the best at his position, but there you can make an argument that Breece Hall is one of the top 5 running backs in the whole NFL. So there's no way that, running backs come and go, but there's no way we're going to be able to replace him with a draft pick. So I think we got to hold on to Breece. I think you got to hold on to Garrett Wilson, hold on to your core players with the exception of Sauce Gardner. I wouldn't really care if he got traded because he doesn't catch interceptions and he can barely tackle. And now that he can't hold people every play because they're calling holding on him, he doesn't really look as good. So with that being said, we got to hold on to Garrett. We got to hold on to our star players, but we also need to get a second receiver, a guy. Like it looks like Jackson Smith and Jigma is probably better than Garrett Wilson. So I think that what we really need is a receiver. I think Garrett Wilson is more like a what do you call it? He's not a B, but he's not an A. Like he's like a, give me the word I'm looking for.
Like a 1A.
Yeah, he's like more like a 1A. Like he's not a true, I don't think he's a true number 1 receiver. He's a little too small. And if you double team him, he gets locked down versus like a Justin Jefferson or like a Jamar Chase. It doesn't matter if you double team them or not. They're still getting open. They're still catching balls. I like Garrett Wilson. I just think he's like a 1A, 1B type of guy. So we really need another wide receiver to pair him with. And maybe that will unleash him. Like, maybe not, because when we saw with Devontae Adams and him playing together, I don't really feel like that unleashed him. I don't know, but I think that's what we're really lacking is just a second wide receiver, and we're lacking good coaching. So the final point that I'll make, I know I'm like Neil here with 18 points, but final point I'll make is fire Aaron Glenn at the end of the season unless we go undefeated for the rest of the way.
That's not happening. That's not happening. They're not firing it. So if they go out there and they win of their next 9, let's say they win 8. You're gonna still say fire the guy?
Yeah, because you shouldn't have gone 1-7. I mean,
oh my God,
you should have.
So the Lions have fired Dan Campbell when they got off in his second year to a 1-6 start, and they rallied to finish 9-8.
Well, that was a completely different scenario. I think that they had a lesser.
If the Jets finished with 9 wins this year, they're not firing Aaron Glenn. That makes no sense.
I understand what you're saying. If we win 8, okay, granted. But anything less than 9-8, unless we win out or win 8, I mean, winning 8 is damn near winning out. Unless we do that, we should fire him. And I'll end on this, right? You guys are going to disagree with me. But I like people like a Ryan Day or a Mike McCarthy. I know Ryan Day's in college, and you guys think that college coaches can't make the transition. But
don't lump me in with all these accusations. I know you've had this conversation before when I wasn't here, but don't lump me in there. I like college coaches. I might not agree with Ryan Day specifically, but I agree with some college coaches.
Well, when I say you guys, I'm more so talking about the people in the chat.
Sure.
But with that being said, like I think Ryan Day would make a good NFL head coach, and I would love to see what he would do. If he got the first or whatever 3rd, 4th pick, and he was able to draft one of his guys and bring in a quarterback and turn this franchise around.
Abracadabra.
I'm not debating Ryan Day when you had to take that unless Aaron Glenn wins out. We got to fire him. Like, come on. I agree with you on not trading Breece. I think it was JD who had a great comment. It's like JJ's calls, his takes just fall off at the end. It's so true. He always goes just a little too far and ruins it. Like,
it ruins it.
It's just like,
he was going somewhere. He was. I disagree. You can't have the expectation of winning out or being fired, especially when it looks like even if they lost out, he's probably not going to be fired. And we can disagree with that. Like I'm with JJ. I would disagree if they did that, and I would be very upset as a fan. But I also can't.
If they finished with 1 win, I would want a new head coach.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, but I also can't expect them to run the table, miss the playoffs at 10-7 or 9-8, and then still fire him. That would be the most wins we've had since 2015. Like I don't. there would be way too much improvement over the back nine to say, yeah, we can't bring this guy back. Like unless we're winning 3-2 in all of these games or like 3-0, then sure, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, JJ went just a little too far.
It's ridiculous. I mean, come on. You said Justin Fields should go in the Ring of Honor, JJ. Like I can't. And now you said he's terrible, so you expect Aaron Glenn to go win out with Justin Fields as his quarterback? Like it doesn't make any sense. Spencer Green spent $10. Say, please get this moron off the screen. Same dude told us Fields was the Ring of Honor. Spencer, you're in the raffle for 2 with that one. All right, let's get to more of your calls. I think we all need to just maybe take a chill pill, right? Maybe calm down a little bit. Things are a little intense right now. Hey, lucky for us, this guy's on the line. Gator says, I think Big Cho might need an intro.
Big Joe.
Yeah, it's nice. I like my recliner. No, I just called to check in.
Big Joe.
I don't like all those wrinkles on my head. I don't have that many wrinkles.
We're talking about Big Joe.
My implants are coming in 3 months.
The Kardashian ones?
I put the jet gear on for you. Been running some errands earlier. Came home just chilling.
Big Joe.
Jake,
Big Cho.
what's going on, brother?
Living the dream, Big Cho.
Are you? What is with all these people wanting to fire Aaron Glenn if he wins more games? I don't get it.
Well, so far it's just JJ, but I see your point.
It was just JJ?
Yeah, I think if Aaron Glenn actually finishes 9-8, I would keep him. JJ would not. So I think that is insane.
That is insane. Why would you fire a guy if he wins out? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, does it?
It does not.
Hey, I was going to tell you.
Are you wearing a turtleneck, Big Joe?
Mock turtle, Nike, black.
You look good.
It was a little chilly this morning when I went out and ran some errands. I actually got to wear one of my new Jet sweatshirts, and I had the Jet shorts on with the shoes, of course. And I was still rocking the gear. And the funny thing is, I had a dentist appointment today just for a cleaning, and the lady the receptionist was like, "Oh, the Jets," and she was like, "My I think she said nephew is a huge Jets fan. We all got together and watched the Jets win last week." And I said, "Does he like podcasts?" And she was like, "Oh yeah." So I hooked him up with your podcast. I can't think of his name, but she wrote it down. And that's the second person this week that I mentioned your podcast to. Jake, thoughts?
Big Joe.
Jake.
Big Joe.
What do you think about that, man?
Big Joe.
Hyping up your show. Hey, tomorrow I'm flying out to Tallahassee, my old stomping grounds at Florida State.
Big Joe.
Going down to watch the Wake Forest Florida State game on Saturday. I'm meeting my roommate from Florida State and his wife. They're picking me up today. Then we're going to an Airbnb. Well, we're going to get lunch. Then we got an Airbnb.
We're talking about Big Joe.
And we're going to the game at 7:30.
Big Joe.
You like doing that, don't you?
We're talking about Big Joe.
Talking about Big Cho.
Big Joe.
So I'm flying tomorrow, and I'm coming back on Sunday.
We're talking about Big Joe.
The only downside to it is the Jets aren't playing this weekend.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Definitely a good thing.
What's that?
that the Jets aren't playing this weekend. At least from a fan perspective, I'm happy that they're not. We get to take in the win a little bit. We get to be nicer to each other for another extra week. If we immediately had to go into a game and see a loss, I'd be upset.
Yeah, but you know what? We might see a win. We got some momentum.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think from the player perspective, there is an argument to be made there. You see it firsthand. When your team comes off a win, they probably want to go right back out on the court and prove it again. So I'm sure they're chomping at the bit, but
yeah, it's gonna be a big game against the Browns.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a home game, right?
We're talking about Big Joe.
Yes, it is a home game.
Yeah. See, I wish I lived up in that area. I'd go to all the games.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun going to the meetup game. I'm gonna try to go once a year.
Yeah, you look like you had a great time there.
Yeah, everybody was super nice, man. And I'm with my condition with my back and having nerve pain and having a cane. Calm your freaky down. Everybody looked after me.
Mm-hmm.
They got me a chair and brought me some food and took pictures with me, had me sign stuff like I was a celebrity. It was nice.
You kind of are a celebrity, Big Joe.
I don't know. I'm a humble guy, so
it's always good.
Yeah, oh yeah. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. I mean, can't really complain. We get to talk football with our pal Jake. Get to talk to you. We get to chill for a little bit. It's a good Thursday. We get to end the night with some football. We get to hopefully see Miami get their ass kicked and Mike McDaniel.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Dylan, we're about to undergo an internet outage. Cho, hold down the fort for us.
I got you. All right, who's going to watch the game tonight between Miami and Baltimore?
We're talking about Big Joe.
I know we're all rooting for Baltimore to beat the hated Dolphins. On the chat, predict the score for me.
Big Joe.
Win the game. You got anybody in the chat to predict the score? I got Baltimore 31, Dolphins 17. Because especially Lamar Jackson's coming back.
Oh shit.
What's going on?
Hey, Big Joe, how are you?
Big Joe.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. How you feeling?
Feeling okay. I'm just dealing with
Chilling.
this nerve pain, but I'm getting an operation November 18th to get rid of it.
Oh, good.
How are you feeling?
We're talking about Big
Chilling.
Joe.
Just chilling.
Just chilling, Big Joe. You look good.
I appreciate it. Just got a haircut. Had to look nice for my trip tomorrow.
Big Joe.
Where are you going?
Going down to Tallahassee. I went to Florida State down to old stomping grounds to go play Wake Forest tomorrow.
Ah,
Saturday.
We're
Sorry.
talking
Saturday.
about Big Joe.
sounds exciting.
Yeah, I hadn't seen my roommate for about 30 years. I'm meeting him and his wife. They're picking me up at the airport, and then we're going out to lunch to go stay at an Airbnb for the weekend.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Appreciate you holding it down for us, Big Cho. Let's get to your calls. We just saw him on the line with the Big Cho on the Big Cho Show. Peter Castro's next. Hey, Peter.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Hi, Dylan.
Peter, how's the leg doing?
Good. I still have a thing on it, but it's getting better.
Good.
It's getting better. Getting to the Jets. All right. Don't be delusioned with this last game. I mean, the defense stinks. Our defense is terrible. And really, on 1st and goal from the 1 yard line, you're running an option with the back to throw the ball. I mean, there's a minute 57 left, and they have 3 timeouts left. Why wouldn't you hand the ball off and not even get in the end zone and make them use it maybe a couple of timeouts? Did they think of that? Because truthfully, that pass that what's his name threw, Brees Hall, should have been intercepted if the guy turns around. He should have never thrown the ball. It was just everything went our way. But it was just another stupid, dumb call, like the same one when it was 4th and 1 and they hand them the ball off 8 yards deep in the backfield. That was stupid too in the first quarter.
When you win, the positives get accentuated and you look past how bad the defense was and some of the questionable play calling that you were referring to. I'm with you, Peter. I mean, it's one win. We got to see a lot more. Let's see how they come out after the bye. I gave the stat earlier if you were watching. The Jets over their last 9 years are 1-8 after their bye week. So I think Glenn could pass an early litmus test in his tenure here if they look good, ready to go against a team they should beat at home.
Yeah, and I think the offensive coordinator specifically, got a little too cute, we'll say, in some of those situations. Like in that 4th and 1 situation with Justin Fields, just call the sneak and don't give him a second play to check out of, and I understand from the player perspective that is like you're restricting that player and it seems like you don't trust that player. But in that situation, man, it's 3 feet. Don't throw the ball backwards 4 or 5 yards. Have your smallest blocker wide receiver and Arian Smith out there leading the way, and he gets beat on the block and Brees has nowhere to go. It's just you outsmarted yourself in certain situations when in totality they made really smart decisions. But yeah, you can certainly nitpick that there were probably 3 or 4 plays or situations where they just outsmarted themselves. And sometimes the best offensive minds do that, right? Kyle Shanahan screwed himself out of 2 Super Bowls doing that same type of thing. But luckily we're the Jets and we don't have to worry about a Super Bowl getting botched by coaching anytime soon.
I mean, if he quarterbacks the way he did last week, I think they'll be all right. But he's not gonna. Something's wrong with him. I don't know if he's shell shocked. I don't know what's wrong with him. But there's definitely he got to get rid of that ball. He holds the ball forever.
That's why he was good on Sunday this past week, because he had an average time of 3.5 seconds to throw. Like he had plenty of time to not have to worry about getting hit the whole game. The O-line was awesome.
Well, that's because we're playing the worst defense in football too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
the confidence is key with him, and it's not always going to be like that situation for him. And he could revert back to what he was against, Denver and Carolina, and that's, awful. And now we're back going, okay, let's put Taylor in. Okay, let's see what we have in Cook. So yeah, nobody should be sold on this one game performance.
And let me ask you another question. Why are they calling quarterbacks in? For what reason? Why don't they just put Cook in there?
I think that's what they're ultimately going to do. I think it's Tyrod Taylor's injury is a little bit more severe than they think. It's a bone bruise in his knee, and he wasn't able to play. And it was supposedly the same knee he's been dealing with since he was injured in training camp, where he was untouched and got the knee injury. So I don't know exactly the severity of it, but I would assume it leans more towards his availability. And any of those guys they bring in would probably be that emergency third quarterback who's elevated from the practice squad in the event that Brady Cook, because let me just pull it up real quick to check my notes. Brady Cook has already been elevated twice this season. So if they elevate him one more time from the practice squad, they have to put him up on the 53. So therefore, they would have to bring in a quarterback on the practice squad to be that emergency third quarterback. That's the only conclusion I can come to, is they're not comfortable with Tyrod Taylor's injury prognosis.
What happened to Pritchard?
He is collecting dust on the practice squad.
I don't get it. I really don't understand that. Why don't they give that kid a shot? He seemed pretty good to me.
Yeah, he was very elusive in the preseason. I don't know how they can't use that in the open field on like a shallow crosser, have him beat one man and cut it up the field and get the first down. Like you can find a way, guys. I don't understand that one either.
Well, I think if they continue, if they play like they played last week, it could be a game that puts them over the hump of getting rid of all their mistakes, and they're starting to get confident. Fields has no confidence whatsoever. So that was a great game for him, for his head anyway. And hopefully it can continue.
Woody motivated him, Peter Castro. He's a
Absolutely.
master motivator, that Woody Johnson.
I'll tell you, they're much better off with Chris running the Jets. Woody's terrible.
Agreed.
I agree.
Chris is well spoken. Players love him. Nice guy from people I know behind the scenes that have interacted with him.
Much more
I don't know.
relatable to the players for sure.
He's younger too. I'm not trying to be an ageist, but like Woody's like 78, and I feel like no one's ever told him no. Chris is like, how old is Chris Johnson? I think Chris is like 7 or 8 years younger than him.
Early
so.
70s, I think. Yeah, I think he's like 71, 72.
I think he would be a better spokesman for the organization.
Absolutely.
He's 66. I mean,
oh,
Chris
he's
is
way younger.
Yeah.
People give him a lot of shit for hiring Adam Gase, and perhaps he listened to too many outside voices during that hiring process. But what did Woody just prove to us during this hiring process? That he was going to rely on outside voices to make those decisions for him. So, like, if it's Woody Johnson hiring the 33rd team or Christopher Johnson listening to Peyton Manning, like, you know, like, I don't know. I'd rather take the shot with Christopher Johnson, honestly.
True. And this team is not a 1-7 team. No way is this team a 1-7 team.
Probably like 3-4, 3-5, maybe. You know, you
If
win one of Denver, Carolina.
Right now, I agree, Dylan. If they were 3-5 right now, I don't think there'd be nearly the amount of criticism at this regime.
No.
Yeah, Pittsburgh goes the other way, right? Gibson never drops the ball. You hold on to the lead, and then you win one of Denver and Carolina, which you should have won already. So, like, that's 3 wins right there. And I feel like we feel a lot better.
Even that Tampa game, after that play with O'Donnell, you think somebody on the defense would step up on that front line and sack Mayfield, or, you know, something. Yeah. But, I mean, the defensive line is awful. Our defensive line is terrible.
Awful. Not doing their job. Absolutely not.
No. But I'll tell you what, the secondary looks better without Sauce Gardner.
Isn't that funny, right?
It did look good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they gave up 38 points.
Yeah, but when it counted, what did they give up?
Oh, please. Sauce is having a very good season, Peter Castro. Come on.
Oh, God. He'd be the first one on my list that I would dump for a first-round draft choice.
Well, they just signed him. I just saw this today. I think people look. I think some of the criticism with Sauce is fair, right? You'd like to see him come up with a couple of interceptions, but he doesn't get a whole lot of opportunities. And this is a chart that basically measures cornerback separation prevented. Look where Sauce is. He's all the way on the top right.
He's great. Jake, he's great with covering guys, but he never turns around. He can't tackle anybody, and he can't catch.
I get it, but we talk about Sauce like he's a bad player, like he's D. Milner. He's one of the best 5 corners in the league.
Well, I don't think so. That's your opinion. I think he's awful.
Look where he is here.
I love it.
I think he stinks. One of the truth. Jake, I know you love him. I know you're a Sauce truther.
I don't love him. I should put the truther label. I just think we've gone too far when we talk about like Sauce Gardner being like people talk about him like he's bad. Like he's not a bad player. Like he
doesn't want to tackle anybody.
He's been much better there this year. The problem is when he's tackled, he's been dinged up. That's how he got hurt with the latest injury.
That's just who you want in the backfield. Somebody who tackles somebody and he's out for 2 days. Or he runs to the sideline and his ankle hurts after he gets beat.
Do you think Beast is a good tackler when you've seen him tackle on the show?
Who?
Beastbreaker.
Oh, my God. He's great. He'd be great in the secondary. Be like a lump of shit.
Peter, you're the man. Great job holding it down with Big Cho.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care, Dylan. Bye-bye, Jake.
The great Peter Castro, everybody.
Abracadabra.
I love Peter Castro so much. He's the best.
Dude, I mean, he was the 11-6 guy at the beginning of this season. So, I mean, I'm glad that he's still optimistic about everything, but apparently Sauce on this team. That's such a take. You were saying, obviously, he's really good. Peter's saying he's really bad. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. He's probably playing above average. Maybe not up to his first 2-year standard, but yeah, I mean, the nerd charts tell me that he's good. The film tells me that he's good. The lack of targets going his way tell me that he's pretty good. I can get by with 0 interceptions. But let's look at this graph here of Brandon Stevens and the names that he's around. Quinyon Mitchell, Trent McDuffie, Zion McCollum, Christian Gonzalez, Tariq Stevenson, Marcus Jones, Cooper DeJean, all in that kind of mold with Brendan Stevens there. That's pretty good company. I mean, we can talk about the hoe-ass Jalen Ramsey way at the other end of the spectrum, but like Brandon Stevens is actually showing out. So I'm glad that this chart is showing that.
I agree. I feel like the Jets secondary, like at least their corners are still going to be very good without Michael Carter. I think Brownlee's been impressive. So there's some positives there for you, Jet fans. All right, home stretch of the show. We got a couple people left that we still have to squeeze in, so we'll try and get to these as quickly as possible. Let me just follow up on some super chats here. Kyle Clifton says, that's my guy. I think he was talking about Big Cho. Daz is in the raffle. He says, I'm so proud of JJ's internet. It has held up really well. Get me in for the Mangold jersey. My wife wants it, and I have to make her like my unemployed ass again. Daz, you're in for 5. NYLI in Atlanta is in for 1. NY, thank you. You're in our raffle. JJ with some super chats here. Yes, I said Fields, Ring of Honor. If he plays like game 1 and last week consistently, he would be. Yeah, but that's the whole point. He's never been that guy. He's never been that guy. That's why your take that he was going to be in the Jets Ring of Honor when he's never been close to a consistent player through his first 4 years was always funny. But saying people who stuck up for Saleh and Douglas, comparing it to your Ring of Honor Fields take is apples to wrenches. It's not even close. JJ also says, stop twisting my words. I said the only way Aaron Glenn stays if he wins out 10-7, even 9-8, fine. Anything less is fireable. You love defending a loser, it said. Now I'm going to be the guy to defend Aaron Glenn here. Amazing how this works. You mean to tell me that if the New York Jets finish 7-10 after starting 0-7, Aaron Glenn wouldn't deserve to come back, JJ? That wouldn't show you real improvement, buy-in from the team that didn't get down when they were 0. Like, just your takes are just asinine, man. This is a ridiculous take.
Yeah, and it's not the same as Adam Gase in his first year, starting 1-7 and then finishing, what was it, 7-9 or whatever it was. I know there were 16 games when Adam Gase was the coach, so 7-9. I think that's the math. It's not the same. We all knew Adam Gase wasn't the guy when he was hired. AG, like he has a legit chance to be a coach in this league. Adam Gase was cooked from day one. And I'm not just talking about the presser, but like his merits, he didn't have the prerequisites. Like we said, Peyton Manning kind of fooled Chris Johnson, but that's okay. I mean, we just knew it wasn't the right guy. AG, there's still, there could be time to tell that AG is the right guy.
Well said. We only have 10 memberships that are in that have been gifted during the show. I'm going to gift one shortly here. So if you want in on the raffle to win a Nick Mangold jersey, now is the time. But let's get to your calls. We got a legend on the line. Haven't seen this guy calling in quite some time. Dirty. Mr. Dirty. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. How are you?
How you been?
I'm well. Dylan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. That's a lot of t-shirts you got there.
Yeah, that's the clothing line. That
Iconical, baby. Yeah. I got my hat. I got my shirt. Love it.
I got mine on right now. As always repping the brand. And that's by the way, that's the new talk show, Top Dog coverage.
Top Dog. Love it. Yeah. Has Beastbreaker or Bobby Midnight called in the Top Dog?
You know what? I don't think we're that famous yet, Jake. I don't think we're that famous. But I will say this. I mean, to say Sauce Gardner is terrible. I mean, there's been a lot of flaws on this defense, obviously, but on the other hand, you could see in that zone sketch where he's passing people off, there's just nobody there to pick them up, and you've seen tight ends, you've seen wide receivers just go into a blank spot where the quarterback just can throw an easy 15-yard, pass to where it's already 3rd and 20 and then easy first downs. And those are the types of things that are really aggravating to watch when you have them backed up. You try to pin your ears, but nobody's picking up the zone coverage. And, our defense has just not looked good. Yes. Was it better when Saleh was here? Yeah, it was. But you know what? This is a completely new regime. Everybody got booted, including everybody who was 15 years inside of the actual offices too. They got booted as well. So it's not a rebuild, but it's you're trying to redo the foundation while you still have really, really good players. And I think it's going to take a little time for them to see what we can get even through the draft. There's new minds coming in here that are going to be like, the fans want this. And we're going to be like, well, no, this is what we need right now, even though we can't see it as fans.
It is going to take time. Would you agree, though, Dirty, that they should be better than 1-7. Like, this is not a 1-7 roster.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're talking about we're dropping a ball, no pun intended, on stupid detailed things that should just be easy. I mean, you're talking Steve Wilkes should have came in here and hard nosed it down and should have been like, you know what, if you're gonna miss assignments, you're benched. But he didn't really do that. He was a little bit stubborn, or maybe it's Aaron Glenn keeping people in. But we shouldn't be 1-7. There's no way that we throw up that many points against the Steelers and then we just have dud after dud after dud with the offense, and then our defense can't stop anybody like that. What are we doing? So
yeah,
you're talking about a defensive coordinator coming in here and we have no defense. Something's got to change. I'm not saying fire them, but something's got to change. So
yeah. The front four and the back seven on defense need to work in better tandem with each other. It feels like they're not always like in sync. And when the front four is there, the coverage is bad on the back end. And when they get to a quarterback, he's still getting it out to an open receiver. Or when they're, clamping in coverage, there's still too much time and the quarterback can get to his check down and still find somebody open after 4 or 5 seconds. So I would love to see that complete game. It felt like we saw a complete quarter of defense in, against the Bengals. But again, Joe Flacco was dealing with a shoulder injury after the 1 sack. So like they almost had Jake Browning come in. So like, I don't want to say this is the turning point, but it showed us something in that fourth quarter that if they can keep that going, plus they held the opposing teams the weeks prior to 13 and 11 points, maybe you can do something with that. But it's got to get better fast for this defense.
Yeah, and I think coming back as well, looking at Quincy Williams kind of coming back, you saw the difference in between stopping the run for a TFL and then stopping the run 2 yards after the line, or after the line of scrimmage. He hits that gap, and when he hits that gap, he is thunder when he hits you. So he, there's a big difference between having our starter linebacker, in. So it's we'll see what happens, But
when he keys in, he's so special. Obviously, he has his warts, but when he identifies something and he can key in on it and he's reading the guards and he slips into that gap and can get that tackle for loss, it is a difference of like 5 yards sometimes, a -3 yard gain versus a 2-yard gain. That's 5 yards difference, and that adds up over the course of a football game, and his presence was definitely welcomed and felt in that Cincinnati game.
And I believe that, I would say that we have the best linebacker tandem, arguably, in the NFL, even though our defense is not showing that.
Well, Sherwood hasn't played well this year, though.
No, he hasn't, and he's supposed to, and he really is supposed to. You gave him the money, and when the both of them are on, they're together, it was great. But when Quincy fell out, he kind of lacked on the leadership role of making those play calls and stuff like that. And in camp, they were like, hey, he's going to be the one making these calls. He's going to be, and he kind of failed on that. So he's got another step to take. So maybe that's exactly why they're not going to trade Quincy Williams, because I think they're going to let him go in this offseason. And I think they want to make sure that Sherwood gets all the knowledge that he possibly can going into next year.
Dirty, good to hear from you, man. We missed your calls. You got to call him more.
I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try. But I'm going to send you an email list. So I'm starting a newsletter. So we're going to try and get everything rocking and rolling.
Sweet. I will check it out. Dirty, all the love, man.
Pew, pew, pew. Abracadabra.
All right. I gifted a membership during that ordeal, and it went to listener AB San Wisdom. So, AB, I put you in the raffle for one. We're up to 11 gifted memberships. Home stretch here. We got 2 calls left. If you're on hold, I'm coming to you. So just know you're one of the last 2 left. Reminder that we are going to give away a Nick Mangold jersey at the end of today's stream. And if you don't win, you have a chance to win a Nick Mangold signed football, a signed Wayne Corbett football, and a signed Justin Fields jersey in our weekly raffle series every Tuesday on the first show. JJ says we go 7-10. You want AG over McCarthy? What a joke. It's not realistic, JJ. If they finish 7-10, they're not going to fire Aaron Glenn and hire Mike McCarthy. You think Mike McCarthy would even take the job necessarily if they fire Glenn after 1 year when they started 0-7 and then finished with 7 wins? Like, you could say whatever you want. If I could swap out Glenn for McCarthy right now, would I do it? Yes. Are the Jets going to do that if they finish 7-10? No, that's just not how the real world works.
No, I don't think that's realistic. And maybe McCarthy is a better head coach than Aaron Glenn, and I don't think I'm necessarily going to dispute that part of the take. I don't know. like, how did we get here? Where I understand the start was bad and, the one and done talk was there, but it's like, and I'm not putting too much stock into one win. I don't know how we get here where any other coach would just all of a sudden be better. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing something, but I don't think McCarthy would all of a sudden have us on the road to the playoffs this year. I still think next year is the year where it's like, okay, the playoffs have to be the goal. And whether that's AG or somebody else.
I mean, come on. Jets Worldwide, our guy Snowball, hoping we could get all three faces on the same page next game. I'm just wondering when I should go home. Still at Goldie's. Great to hang out with Snowball. I'm still feeling the effects of that shot that we took all together, Mr. Snowball. You're the man. You're in the raffle for 2. That's the thing, though. We've yet to see the Jets play complimentary football where all 3 units are playing well at the same time. We've had moments, maybe the fourth quarter, you could say they played complimentary football with all 3 units, but we haven't seen it for a half or certainly not a full game.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And maybe there were spurts or like a couple drives here or there in the Pittsburgh game where it looked good, but all in all, it has not looked great. And shameless plug, I will be on tomorrow with our guys Snowball and Johnny Boy on Jets Worldwide, wide at 8:30. So come check us out. We'll be doing some film reviews of this game and what could be coming down in the future in terms of quarterback play.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to your last remaining calls. But first, Mr. Magoo says, hey now, I want in the Nick Mangold raffle. Well, Magoo, you are in for 5. Steven, NYC, and then the great Kyle Clifton will close today. Hello, Steven.
Wow, before Kyle. Tough. Hey, guys. Quick question, then I just want to give you a quick story on Nick. Rest in peace. Is Joe Douglas part of like a consulting arrangement with the Eagles?
He's in their front office. He's like a senior advisor for them.
Right. By the way, if you guys said this already and covered this, I'm sorry, I might have missed it. But like on Michael Carter, I'm like shocked. Are you guys like how?
Not at all.
No, in a good way. Meaning, I think it was obvious, and through as great as you guys are, like we were already like we replaced them, got all this money. We're gonna have to cut them. Hopefully, we get something. We got a lottery ticket. We got a swap our way. Is Howie Roseman like? Are we missing something? And my big question is, maybe I did miss this. Are we paying?
No,
we're saving.
Yeah, the Jets got rid of the contract. They were going to cut him anyway, though, Steven. And they were going to
No, I'm saying so. How did that happen? That's amazing.
Because the Eagles are going to cut him too.
We lose the salary. We get a lottery ticket, and we swap 7 to 6.
Well, I mean,
you guys shocked?
No, because that's kind of what I thought. Like, what did you think they were going to be able to get for Michael Carter? Like, that's exactly what I thought they'd be able to get, a late round pick. And instead of probably getting like maybe just a straight up 6th, they're like, hey, we'll do a swap 7th for a 6th, and hey, we'll take Mechie off your hands because you guys don't have a spot for him.
Or are you trying to say that you thought we would get less for Michael Carter? Okay, yeah. I mean, there was definitely a path.
Our rhetoric,
yeah,
and in the Jet world, our world, which you guys are the best. Like, and Joe Douglas, I don't know if he watches the show, but like, I don't understand. Like, I think I don't want to say fleece. We didn't, like, we were really just going to cut him.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a path where that was the ultimate decision made on Michael Carter, was to just release him and take whatever cap hit it was. I would say
the Eagles.
I would say in the short term, the Eagles win the trade because Michael Carter, if healthy, is going to allow them to do a lot more in that defense and move Cooper DeJean to the boundary and be a lot more versatile on their back end. So perhaps in the short term for the back half of this season, if he can stay healthy, the Eagles will win that trade because Mechie's not. Yeah, exactly. But you can look at it exactly like that, as a win-win, where the Jets in the long term, they see something out of Mechie. They allow him to re-up with the team. They have the restricted free agent tag on him or whatever it is. So they basically have the right to first refusal.
And I'm really happy that we found a partner. I was just surprised it was Joe and Howie Roseman.
I think he might have had influence because he is the senior personnel director, so he is handling probably more NFL personnel rather than draft personnel right now.
Listen, Michael Carter's
So,
good.
Exactly.
It was
He
one
said,
of
"I
those
can
win-wins.
get him in
this
here."
outcome,
Yeah.
and I guess good. A great trade. Both should be getting a good result. Just before I go, thank you for that, guys. Nick Mangold, rest in peace. Jake, you know this. You know, my son loves football. We're all very big fans, and he started playing us as his favorite player. And then, Jake, we found out that my son and him had the same birthday, so we have a lot of commonality. So I was just talking to them, and when I say my son, he's 21, my older one's 26. And we went back and started talking about all-time Jets and how hard this hit us. And I went back, and I'm older. I'm in my 50s. So other than the Don Maynards and the Joe Namaths, when you say Nick Mangold, just factually, all of the facts, only a Jet, right? As successful as he was, stayed in the community. I mean, the Revis story of like an all-time Jet, he kind of left. Some people weren't happy. Namath got hurt. That was Maynard, I'm not sure of, and I actually brought it up. But like Corbett, like he's unique. You can say yay, nay, whatever, but Nick Mangold, DeBrick, these are all-time Jets. I went back to Wesley Walker, maybe Freeman McNeil, but Nick Mangold is one of one in a lot of categories. And at my age, and then my kids even realizing it, I really just wanted to make it clear. This is such a horrible and terrible situation, and he really is one of the one-of-ones. And I just really thank you for taking the call and letting me say that, because it's really tragic, but rest in peace, Nick, and thank you for everything.
Well said, Steven. He's one of the best Jets ever, and he's a future Hall of Famer in my book. 100%.
Thank you.
First win!
All right, before we get to the closer, I played this earlier, but I think it's worth playing again because we're talking about Nick Mangold. Jason Kelsey, who I think is a future Hall of Famer, spent some time on his podcast with Travis Kelsey, New Heights, which came out yesterday, talking about Nick Mangold. So I want to play it for those who haven't seen it because I think it's great stuff.
It's been talked about Nick Mangold passing. He's been struggling with the genetic disorder and needed a new kidney. And you want to talk about one of the stalwart, like best offensive linemen to ever play the game.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people come up and tell me, like, you're the best center to ever play. Like, I get that from other people. And it's hard to receive that because I know in my heart that Nick Mangold at his best was 10 times a player than I ever was. Like, I could never be that dominant at the center position. Nick was phenomenal. He was unbelievable in pass protection. He was an unbelievably smart leader and getting those guys on the same page. And he would murder people in the run game. He was unbelievable when he was in the NFL. He was unbelievable at Ohio State.
Yeah, he was.
It's just a travesty that's happened at such a young age. He's got a whole family. Like when you think about offensive linemen over the past 2 decades, like the best of the best, you don't look any further than Nick Mangold.
Well said. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, and I hope we get to plan an Asmaniac road trip to Canton over the next few years to celebrate him.
Yeah, I think when, as a fan, you think about some of the greatest Jets, you don't always go to the ones that have all the accolades, right? You go to the guys that, were easy to root for, that, embodied what it was like to be a Jet, that endured a lot of the hard times and things of that nature. Nick was that special blend of both, where he embodied everything it meant to be a Jet on and off the field, but he was so damn good on the field too. Like, it's just crazy to think about. And Steven kind of put it into perspective too. Like, he was a Jet from start to finish. Even Joe Namath went and played for the Rams. You know what I mean? Like, things happened in like the end of a lot of these guys' careers where they didn't get to finish their career as a Jet. So for Nick to see it fully through, like Joe Klecko in a Colts uniform is so strange to see at the end of his career, right? But that's, the reality we had with a lot of these greats in terms of accolades. I think Nick was a great blend of accolades plus the easiest to root for. And I've been really enjoying all the stories about Nick Mangold because I have a pretty cool story where it ties into my fandom of football and the draft. So I think hearing everybody's stories all week has been really cool.
Comments, questions, super chats, last chance here. Let me get this one in from Adam, who says, can we just enjoy the win a little more, even if it's an outlier? Rebuilding the team takes a full season to evaluate. Let's get 2 wins in a row. Amen, man. We can have these conversations about improvement and positivity because they did win, and there is that extra week. And now we'll see what they look like post-bye. All right, here we go. One last call. He's a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, where is he calling us from? The great indoors or somewhere outside? You decide.
If you're in the New York area, maybe the easiest day in the indoor-outdoor game.
That's fair point.
Yeah. So this little gem over my shoulder right now just told me that she's going to be a Giants fan now. After we just had the Kelsey brothers on, and she had been telling me for the months before that she's a Chiefs fan because that's Taylor Swift's boyfriend. So, so she's fickle, and like every woman in my life, she's out to break my heart. So
you might be doing her a favor though, not letting her be a Jet fan.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
My 9-year-old nephew came to me after the Panthers game, and he was like, "Uncle Dylan, the Jets suck. I'm an Eagles fan." And I'm like, you know what, kid? I can't even blame you.
But to hear that from Kelsey is something else, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you think as a Jet fan, maybe you have a little bit of bias and you overestimate Nick. But to hear that from a guy who's done it and been at the top of his profession as well, and recently, that was great to hear. I hope he does get in sooner rather than later. So Glenn is going to be here unless he wins 3 or less games. Do you guys kind of agree with that?
I think if they finish with 4 wins, he's back. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think if they finish with 2 wins, he's still back.
Really?
Yeah, I think the messaging is pretty firm that he's going to get 2 seasons. And that clip from Mike Tannenbaum a little bit, we didn't really talk about it. I feel like even Mike Tannenbaum was trying to sell us on 2026 with Aaron Glenn, just the way he was talking about, this looks like a longer term rebuild and 2-year plan with all these players. It sounds like he knew going into it that the coach, whoever it was probably going to get 2 years. So I think, even if they lose out, I still have a feeling that he would be back.
The first 7 games is really rough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, Dylan. I think
it can't look the same, but the results could still be losses, and I think it's back.
1-16, I think he's gone.
I'm not going to say he deserves to be back. I just think that the ownership will want him back. I just have a weird feeling.
The defense over the last 3 games, mostly better until last week, but although they did have stops in key points of the game. Jet fans, speaking of fickle, we're going to miss Sauce Gardner when he's gone. Like, people don't realize it. Like, the people that cover the way he do, they don't grow on trees. And a lot of corners can't tackle. Deion Sanders couldn't tackle. He had other things that made him special, and guys like Revis who could do both. Revis is the greatest hand fighting corner of all time. He would just knock people off their routes and send them where he wanted them to go, not where they wanted to go. And he was like a badger. He was really, really special, Revis.
Yep.
The next 9 games are going to be so clutch for Glenn, just to show like that last week's offense wasn't a fluke, right? That we're starting to get the players to at least get to a point where even with a quarterback that might not be top tier, we can score consistently in the 20s, and that the defense is tightening up and being close to what we thought it was going to be going into the season. And that he had his best coaching game of the season last week. It was good, and it was so poor prior to that. We got to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to really dictate to us what happens with Glenn. If he can get to over 3 wins and show that kind of improvement, he stays. And if he can't, then he's not the guy. I appreciate your time, guys.
Kyle, great final call before the raffle here. It's well said. I think we learn a lot about this staff over the next 9 weeks, but I think the game against the Browns tells us a lot. I get it. The Browns aren't any good, but if they come out and look good off a bye, off a win, it completely goes against so many Jet teams in the past that we've seen in this exact spot. Blow the game, lose, not come ready to play, overlook an opponent, not handle winning well. All these things you could cross off or check off a couple of boxes for the positive with a win. Like, winning matters, man. Winning matters.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that I'm sitting here advocating for Aaron Glenn to be back if they went 1-16, 2-15, obviously 3-14. Like, it's still hard to swallow, and like you would like to see some tangible evidence. I keep kind of going back to that phrase, but it just seems like the messaging is just, we've kind of been hammered with it over the last 2 weeks, and then they finally get the win now. Like, I don't know. Obviously, it could look just as bad as, the
what
first
phrase? The hard to swallow?
Oh, tangible evidence.
Calm your freaky down.
It's a family show, Dylan. Jeez.
I keep saying tangible evidence. Somebody called me out in the chat for it earlier, but like, that's all I really want to see is like, their backs are so far up against the wall that I just want to see them gain some distance between them and the wall, right? Like, build a cachet with this fan base to say, hey, we need your support. We want to show you something that we're proud of. Like, the next 9 games could look bad and we can go 2-7, but there are things you can be proud of still in those things. But I'm not saying I would advocate to bring him back. I would still love an offensive minded coach to pair with a rookie quarterback, but it feels like I guess I've just accepted that he's probably back, regardless of what the final result is.
Yeah, I think it depends on wins and what it looks like too. Like, if they finish with 3 wins and one of them is against the Bills resting all their stars in week 18, like, at that point you already know, like, if you're bringing them back or not. Like,
yeah,
and if determine anything.
Of course. And if every game looks like, the Cowboys game where it's 30-6, you know what I mean? You can't justify that to the fan base, because you have to show us something competitively down the stretch to be like, okay, like we kind of bought into the Gase stuff too a little bit. And like, not many people wanted him back for year 2, but because of that, Fugazi stretch down the back end and Sam Darnold kind of playing well, we were kind of bought into it. And then we look like crap in 2020, obviously.
Spencer Green, Dolphins money line plus 300 or more. Let's ride. I am fading you, Spencer. No way am I betting on the Dolphins. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Dylan, let's give the people a little play on the way out of here. Who you like tonight on Thursday Night Football? The Ravens get Lamar back. They are 7.5-point favorites in this one. Miami coming in off a win. They're at home. Your thoughts on the matchup tonight?
I would like to see Lamar come back and kick some ass, get back into that, MVP type category, which I feel like he, very easily can do. And who knows, Tua coming off of a 4-touchdown, 0-interception game, perhaps he makes the Ravens defense look like the Ravens defense of old. And I know that the Ravens defense has been struggling mightily all season, but I think that they're looking at this as a get-right game. And I know they just had a pretty big win last week. I know it was just against the Chicago Bears, but they had Snoop Huntley as their quarterback. So I think the Ravens are trying to build some momentum. Looking at 7.5, I would take the Ravens with the spread. I think they win by probably closer to double digits, but I would say that the under hits. Like, I think it's going to be like a 28-14 type of game. So what is that? 42 points. I think it'd be something like that. I think they win pretty handedly, but Miami just doesn't keep up and push that over to 52 or more.
I love the Ravens here. They're with Lamar, they average 33 points per game. Without him, they're at 14.3 points per game. We know he's going to be out there tonight. Ravens defense seems to be improving, as you just referenced it. Ravens have total motivation. They saw the Steelers lose again. They just saw the Bengals lose. So they know, hey, we're not out of this. We can win. And look at our schedule coming up. Jets are one of those teams they play. So I think the Ravens had the motivation here, even though they're going on the road in a short week. How bought in is Miami? They finally got a win. Are they going to be locked in and like, oh, we got to go do it again? Or are they going to be like, we got our win. We're fine.
They beat the brakes off the Panthers too.
They did. I like Baltimore. I'd lay the 7.5. It's a lot of points, but I think they win by at least 10 or more tonight. So we shall see. All right. Who's ready for the raffle? Someone's going to win a Nick Mangold jersey. Who? Well, that's not for me to decide. That's for the Wheel of Champions to determine.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
We go. Dylan, call your shot. Which Asmaniac entered do you think will win the Nick Mangold jersey?
I'm gonna go Daz Acoustic.
Going with Daz, an international player.
Just so you got to spend more on shipping.
Yeah. Don't remind me. I had to send an item to Estonia.
Our guy Pred.
Peter Pred. All right, here we go. Wheel of Champions. Your winner is... Looks like it's going to be Mr. Magoo. Hey now, the Magoo of it all. Let's go.
Who wanna fly with them?
I don't remember if Magoo has won a prize before, but Mr. Magoo, please email me, asmanjake@gmail, your name, your address, and your size for the Nick Mangold jersey that you have won. His name is Mr. Magoo. What's his first name, though? We know last name Magoo. Guess what we think Mr. Magoo's first name is?
Marty.
Marty Magoo. And there
Dude,
you have
how much would you pay for that clip of AG to be uncensored?
Oh yeah, believe me, there's a lot of things I'd pay for.
Yeah.
There's a website where you could pay for things. It's called OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this?
But yes, I know. I would definitely pay for the unedited version of that because that'd be
100%.
a great drop.
100%.
All right, Dylan, plug your channel before we get out of here. What do people need to know? Tell us what's going on the Believe podcast with DT.
Yes, I am now the host of the Believe in Jets podcast. That is a 2 to 3 episode per week podcast. I will have guests on doing recaps, previews. I just put on a trade deadline episode with my buddy Chris Schubert, friend of the pod. And really excited about the opportunity with Believe. And then all those will also be in video form on my YouTube channel at Dylan Tereman. So a little bit of double dipping. You will get bonus content at the Believe feed eventually. And then you'll get bonus content on my YouTube channel in terms of film. I just did an hour film review of this week 8 breakdown. I have almost 10 quarterbacks broken down on my channel now at this point. I have to get through Ty Simpson, and there's one more, I think Taylon Green from Arkansas, and then I'm at 10 quarterbacks already broken down on my channel, and we're not even at Thanksgiving yet. So at Dylan Tereman, you can check out all those breakdowns, all the film reviews, tons of great guests coming on the show, and really excited. Just hit 1,100 subs.
Love it. Appreciate you for joining us, Dylan. Everyone go subscribe to Dylan. I'll throw his link in the chat for you guys to enjoy. I leave you guys with a video that, I don't know, I feel like would be appropriate to play on a glorious day like today. Sit back and enjoy. Again, thanks to Dylan Tereman for joining us. And a reminder to everyone, we're back tomorrow. Fireman Ed will join us on the first show, so we're looking forward to that. JETS, 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 Jets. Hit it, Charles.
Charles, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm just working my ass right now.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm Beastbreaker and I love Harry Potter. I'm a magical fart wizard. Abracadabra, bitches. I'm gonna blast ass in my diaper. Get me a bag of dicks. Get me a bag of dicks. Get me a bag of dicks. Bag of dicks.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets!